Mulatto, everybody. Finding Our Feathers. Look like you and I are going to be running this show for a minute. You handle the room, and I'll handle over here. How that sound to you, Finding Our Feathers? This is going to be a hot one tonight. Can you hear me clearly? Let me know if you're hearing me clearly, Finding Our Feathers, please. So if I have to up the mic, I'll do some adjusting on this side. Thank you all very much. Okay. What we're going to do tonight, and Phoenix is going to join us later. We're fixing to surprise y'all this week. Phoenix will be coming on later tonight. Um, we're going to have a midnight snack with Phoenix on this topic. We are going to be starting our class on getting to the bottom of the root of things. I don't need to repeat myself. Y'all know what we're trying to figure out. Get to the bottom of the root of the sovereign nation, who empowered them, and how they built their new nation here upon us. So, I'm not going to wait too much longer. Y'all know the game. Finding Our Feathers, we're waiting for at least 50 people to get in the room so the room can get hot so we can start cooking. So while we're waiting on the room to cook, I'm going to just keep talking a little bit. We're up to 31 people in the room. Welcome, everybody. Please hit the like button. I see you in there, Will. I see you. We getting to the bottom. That's right. Uh, um, y'all gonna have to bear with me a little bit because when you're trying to go back and serve the history, a lot of times people get stuck in the middle of history. So now you're not to the root of it. We got to go back and see what happened to us across these lands. So those of you that want us to really dig deep, let me see you send some fire and say dig deep. Um, Let me hear some dig deeps out there. I'm reading while I'm going along, but I don't hear y'all say dig deep if you want to dig deep. Now, if we dig deep, it's going to take some time. You know, when you went to school, it took 12 years, and we don't want to do 12 years, so we're going to have to start doing more hours sometime. You may not be on here with me, but what I will do with this is so that we get to the bottom of building how they built the nation or new nation on top of us. We got to take it back. We got to go to the roots. So let me not repeat myself. Let me take you back so you can understand what I meant when I was talking to Kellogg. I see a lot of people have used the stuff, but let me use it myself and say what I'm talking about. So I invite myself to the stage. Okay, while we're waiting to hit that 50, y'all see, we're going to go, all of y'all know this video. But do you know what I was talking about? Oh, Eli said, dig deep. I'm going to dig deep, Eli. I'm going deep. We're going to dig deep politically. We're going to dig deep spiritually or religiously. And we're going to dig deep physically. And it's going to take us a while. Now, Eli and Will, y'all on here, y'all know how Chief teach when we was having our regular classes on this stuff. So that we don't walk out ignorant to what the enemy been using against us. Okay? Wow, Indian Jazz, I see you in the room. We're going to need them ranches by the time we get through with this series. Now, remember, this is part 4. So, if somebody done missed 1, 2, 3, you need to go back, okay? Because now we fixing to go deep on that topic. And as I said before, some of y'all came in, things will be coming in a little late tonight. We're going to do a 2-part segment. If you don't catch part 2, it'll be there for you when you wake up in the morning. But I'm going to take this first part on, and then we got a lot of discussions when Phoenix come in tonight. I want to know what y'all feel about it, but we're going to be digging deep on this series. So we may be in and out with you. I may have it 4 parts this week. Y'all like that? We're going to dig deep. So we're going to be watching some videos. Y'all see what it say for educational purposes only. So also, so for those who don't see it there, can y'all put on your in the chat room for educational purpose only? We got 53 people in the room and the fire is hot. Here we go. All right. Put on your page for educational purpose only. We have a university here. We serving up history. So it's no need recreating the wheel when it's already sitting there and we just need to be serving it up. There y'all go. Thank you, Noreen. Here we go. We're going to start off to see what is Chief putting herself on for. Let me see what Chief Warhorse was talking about. Y'all let me know if the sound is clear. Noreen, y'all can, not yet. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Let me get the sound going. Huh?
I can't put mine on. You'll get feedback.
Yeah, I'm fixing to get the sound on for y'all. Right here. Here we go.
Somebody say I can hear you clear.
Thank you.
Somebody say clear.
Let me know, do y'all hear that? Not hearing sound? Whoa, bear with me. Let me get the sound going on here for y'all. One second. Bear with Chief. Okay, while I'm trying to get this sound and stuff going up here pretty good, let's see how it's coming across to y'all.
Stu is on tonight too.
Welcome, Stu. Y'all know, Stu, you know me. I like to give it to y'all where you can see it. I'm trying to get the sound to come in. We got 61 in the room. We're having some sound issue right now for some reason. Wait a minute. Might have to take it out and bring it back in. Hold tight. This is going to be a good one. Let me get it back in. Let me see. Can y'all hear something? Noreen, can you hear anything? Okay, y'all wait till I get my sound together. I'm going to take it from the stage. Y'all be holding tight for 1 minute. Let me come off the stage with the film for a minute. And I'm going to mute my mic. Y'all keep the room growing. It's growing by 9. We got 50. All glory go to the Creator. It's an honor to be here today. But I love the theme, American healing. Well, first, let's think about something. Where did America come from? Have it always been America? Or was it just created to be America? Who are the real Americans? America keep changing and changing and changing. Let's go back in time when the American Indians looked like I look and roamed the southeast part of the United States freely. I love what the mayor said. We have to tell the truth. We cannot heal America till we fix the foundation. Can we start right there?
So today's the day. I've got my RTA mock system and Coyote.
Let's start right there. Y'all with me? Let's start right there. When I said
the big old box came from the shipping company.
Okay. I said I wasn't going to repeat myself for a reason. Because there's some things out there that people need to understand that have been said and done, but we need to teach about this. You know, I says a lot of time about changing names, and I'm not trying to be rude with anyone that have changed their name. There's a reason I say those things. It's because a lot of times people didn't understand that was part of a trick to get people to change their name so somebody else could take your identity. Okay? So if anybody feel like I've offended them about that topic, I'm sorry you feel that way. But that's factual. And as we go through this, you're going to see why. We see different people out there with different names and they worshiping different deities and stuff. And we don't understand what that is. Because these things wasn't in our school books. It wasn't even in our church. Yes, they built a new nation on top of an existing nation. You are correct. I done learned the little stuff. See, I can put what you said on there now. That's who said that. That's correct. We're gonna have this class rolling because I didn't try to learn how to do this YouTube thing for me to leave you out. Okay? There's a reason. Okay? So, if we have 60 people in the room, please hit the like button. We're not doing this to make money. We are doing this to build knowledge. We want people to have full understanding. We got 56 people in here and they say we only have 41 likes. At least hit the like button as your tip before you leave here. Starting with now. Let me know if we have everybody that done tapped in on where we're at, and we're going to go to the next part of this. We were talking the other day about the actual part of building a nation. So when they start to build a nation, they had a good reason for changing things, and they brought these things into our churches and communities and organization, and they would adopt some ways that we fully didn't understand and still don't understand. And the internet gives us an opportunity to dig a little deeper together. I'm bringing something up on the stage right now. Let's get it up here on the stage. We still talking about the order of the red man and secret societies. How did this come about? How was these people able to bring a whole lot of European people, turn them into Indians, take our identity if we didn't just voluntarily, in some cases, gave it up ourselves? Okay? We got to look at this was something done in the schools, in the churches. It was around us. That's called programming us. So we were programmed to believe a lie. Can y'all put in here, like the lies my teacher taught me? Stu, you know that book, that was part of our book club. And if y'all are not in a book club and y'all want us to get these books listed, Stu, you and I and Sharon, we know a lot of books that they can go to and find facts. And we'll get that book club going on the other page for our members only book club. Members only book club. We can't just keep giving everything to the other people for them to go make a video. Before I go to the next step, I see people trying to turn and twist people's mind about the civil rights movement. I saw a video the other night was very much not accurate, but they used another person's video and then they created their own narratives. These are the things we got to call to a halt. Go learn for yourself. Don't let, not even Chief Warhorse, if I'm showing you this stuff, take notes. Look at the top of the video that's up there. Write the name down. Go look that video up. Find out for yourself. Don't let somebody overtalk someone else's video and give their narratives. Okay, we're going to go into this video right quick. Tonight we're going to be dealing with a lot of videos. One going to be kind of long, so I'm doing the short ones right now. Because when we get to the one that's going to be kind of long, it's going to take us a good minute. All right, here we go. This one here is a little short one. It's only 3 minutes and something, but please pay attention. In your box. Come on, y'all, and I love that y'all communicate back with me. But y'all are a part of what we are doing. Okay? So we got 68 people in the room. There's more people than you can get in a regular classroom history class. 69 in the room. Should have 69 likes. We're getting ready to start digging a little deeper. And as we get ready, I see somebody say lost sound. Y'all can't hear me? If you can hear me, so you can hear me. Um, we are going to go one step right now, even a little deeper. I'm fixing to hit the button. It'll be picking up pretty much where we were the other night. Here I go. Suggest you go back and watch more.
The northwest corner of Tejon and Colorado Ave, also known as Robbins Corner, has been an important fixture of the downtown district since its construction in 1887. For 75 years, it housed the beloved Robbins on the Corner store, the city's choice purveyor of clothing, boots, and shoes. Originally a three-story behemoth, the building had plenty of space to accommodate various fraternal organizations. Until 1910, the building was home to the Independent Order of Odd Fellows, but when they moved to the newly constructed Odd Fellows Hall on Nevada Street, Robbins Corner became home for the offensively named Improved Order of Red Men. The Red Men evolved out of the early secret societies of the American Revolution, like the Sons of Liberty, the Sons of St. Tammany, and the Society of Red Men. These groups of revolutionaries and early colonists admired the political structure of the League of Iroquois, who balanced the individual needs of each sovereign tribe with a strong and protective central government. By 1834, the former members of these secret societies had turned their focus to philanthropy and founded the Improved Order of Red Men, a fraternal organization that offered insurance benefits to its members.
The Improved Order of Red Men integrated Native American lore and garb into their meetings and ceremonies, dressing in traditional Iroquois clothing and even simulating tribal initiation rites for incoming members. The initiation was perhaps the strangest and most elaborate of any fraternal organization, involving a role-playing scenario where the initiate is accused of treachery and is distrusted because of his pale face. It sounds as follows.
Too often have we been deceived by those who professed friendship, but who repaid our hospitality with ingratitude and treachery. What they have been, I fear he is, a spy. Therefore, prepare your keenest scalping knives and your weightiest war clubs. Our brave Junior Sagamore will superintend the execution. Braves, light the fire! Alright guys, so here's how it's gonna work. The Braves will light the cones, and at a signal from the Junior, the Warriors and Braves, as led by the Junior, will perform a scalp dance around the paleface. While it is expected that the dance will be given in a realistic manner, any loud yelling, uncouth noise, or, in fact, just anything that may be heard outside the council chamber, that's absolutely prohibited, okay? Oh.
The Improved Order of Red Men still exists today and is still championing the causes of patriotism, friendship, and charity, as well as, quote, perpetuating the beautiful legends and traditions of a once vanishing race. Though their appropriation of Native American culture may strike modern Americans as offensive, the Red Men were once a rather popular fraternal organization, claiming such eminent members as Teddy Roosevelt, Warren Harding, Franklin Roosevelt, and Richard Nixon.
Y'all know I'm always talking about Nixon and the part that he played under the name his little fake name, the trick they was calling him. The reason they called him that is because he was playing a trick. The trick was on us. Okay? The trick was us. Did y'all see that was, we started with George Washington and we walked our way through. And now we hear this here show goes all the way up to Nixon, who was one of their members. Can y'all put in there Nixon? President Nixon. So here we got black folks trying to play a game that white folks was playing with presidents and congressmen from the beginning of the creation of this thing. Y'all want to let's keep going a little deeper? Y'all quiet on me. Come on, we got 78 people in the room. Give us 78 likes. What y'all say? President Nixon. Now can y'all understand how the white tribes was able to be recognized and how he did a reorganization of the tribes? Because he was a part of the secret society of the Order of the Red Man. Please put y'all, can y'all put that in here? This is why I say Congress need to look into this. Members of the organization held positions as president and congressmen. We're not here, and I want to say this, we're not here to destroy America because that's ours. We are here to show the corruption that have been put into the political seats in this country. Okay? Thank you. He says more puzzle pieces. That's what we're trying to do. We're going to put this puzzle together in front of your eye. Okay? And I said, okay, Noreen say, President Nixon was a member of the Order of Red Man. Are y'all with me? Okay? So if you got the presidents and you got Congress organizing as a part of these things and bringing that power to the leadership of this country, how can changing your name or creating you a tribe, you can create a tribe, but it's not a part of this clique. It's not a part of this network. It's the white side of the chessboard. Okay? We're talking about a chessboard that we are not included in. There is a black side, like I keep saying, and a white side to the chessboard. Put it on there. We're looking at right now the white side of the chessboard because really the black side of the chessboard don't have power. They are part of the division. Okay? Yeah, that's right, Stu. Watergate. See? So we know what he was a part of. So that means he's capable and was capable, I'm going to put it that way, of doing the things that he did. Somebody so federally recognized tribe is, let me do this here. You sum it up for yourself. I'm going to bring you the facts. And if you don't get it, dig a little deeper. We're talking about that chessboard. I keep saying there's a white side, a black side. There's even some chessboard with a brown side. Okay? We got to understand how this chessboard is working. Okay? And who is this chessboard working against? Okay? Talk to me. We're going to get a little deeper. We're going to get a little deeper, a little deeper. I just want y'all to bear with me. We're going to spend some time making sure everybody get a chance to understand how the game is played. And if you're not a part of that game, you're wasting your time. I'm fixing to share the screen with you because we want people to understand, yep, we still cooking in the backyard. Yes, we are. We are still cooking in the backyard, and we still looking and playing the chess game over here. Because we got to let the enemy know, no, I know what you're doing. We not lost to that. I'm bringing something up for you now. Y'all see that chessboard? Do y'all see? I like this chessboard because it gives you all the colors. Y'all with me right there? You got a brown looking board, but you got black chess playing and white chess playing. And it is kind of accurate because it's not black, it's a brown black. Y'all with me? And it's not white, it's a tannish white. Okay? Do y'all see that chessboard? So we got black people jumping into the game trying to play it when the game was being played against the darker people around the world. It wasn't meant for blacks to be able to do nothing nowhere around the world. So the board was set against us. Okay? Now, why did I put that chessboard there? Because what we going into next, I need you to say, I see the chess game. If you see it, say, I see the chess game. Say, I see it. This is for educational purpose only that we show in these videos. If you was close enough to me, Stu, and all of them know, I'll put you in a room and I'll walk you through it with the books. We ain't even made it to the books yet, Stu. You see, I have some of my members on here that studied with me. Y'all see the chessboard, huh? So we're gonna move on off of this chessboard, and in the next video, I won't be talking to you. I saw someone over narrating a video the other day, and it worked on me and Aima's last nerves. If you're gonna use the videos for educational purpose, let it be presented as is. Don't alter it. So we're gonna move on over and bring in our discussion for the night to show how they gain their power. So I'm going to take the chessboard off because I only brought the chessboard on so people understand it was a game they were playing with us, but for reality. I'm going to be bringing in my next presentation. It's going to take us a minute. And yes, we are in a class right now. Okay. I'm going to be bringing the next part to the stage.
George W. Bush and the Pope in audience.
Let me back it up for you. Do y'all see what we're talking about tonight?
The secret behind secret societies. Obviously, the secret behind secret societies is a secret that people don't want to spread abroad. Revelation 17:4, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colors, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having the golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. There's only one church in the whole world that uses a woman with a cup, and that is the Roman Church. And here is Città del Vaticano, using the woman with the golden cup, and she is called Fides on all their documents. Fides. Now, what does that mean? Fides. Well, let's go to a Masonic source, a very good Masonic source, written by Albert G. Mackey, the Manual of the Lodge. Albert Mackey was a 33-degree Freemason. It'll become clear as we go through the lectures what this means. And he says, the right hand has in all ages been deemed an emblem of fidelity, and our ancient brethren worship deity under the name of Fides, or fidelity, which was sometimes represented by two right hands joined, and sometimes by two human figures holding each other by the right hand. Numa was the first who erected the altar to Fides, under which the name, the goddess of oaths and honesty, was worshipped. So it means honesty and fidelity, but it is also an image of a female deity. Now, Revelation 17 verse 5 calls this institution the mother of prostitutes. In Revelation 18 verse 7, she says, I sit as queen, I am not a widow, and I will never mourn. So she might have lost some children during the Reformation, but she's going to get them back. I am, and there is none beside me. I will never be a widow or suffer loss of children. She's going to control the world in a spiritual sense. That's what this power says. Now, it's interesting that the Vatican has just recently, September 5, 2000, issued this encyclical, Dominus Iesus, where she says, other churches are no sisters of ours, the Vatican insists. It must always be clear that the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Universal Church is not the sister, but the mother of all the churches. Cardinal Ratzinger said that. He's the head of the Inquisition. They don't call themselves the Inquisition anymore. They call themselves the Congregation for Doctrine and Faith. But it's the same thing. It's even in the same building. Now, she's not the mother. She is not the sister, but the mother of all the churches. That means all the other churches are subject to her, right or wrong. That's what she says. Now, in Revelation 13, verse 1 and 2, speaking about the same power, it says, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Now, that's a very wow statement. The dragon gave him the power. In other words, this power comes from another source. Now, doesn't Catholicism preach Christianity? Yes, it does. Doesn't it preach Jesus Christ as the Savior of the world? Yes, it does. But it also preaches mediation through other mechanisms and through the church. Now, it is interesting that in secret societies, there are always two doctrines. one for the initiated and one for the goyim, the uninitiated. And the Knights Templars had two doctrines. The one was the inside esoteric occult doctrine, and the other one was the exoteric, the one to the outside, and that was Catholicism. So the masses received a religion which the insiders turned on its head. Amongst occult insiders, Lucifer is the true Son of God. Jesus is a second son who was defeated by the first one who had been thrown out. So Lucifer is the true luminary, the victor in the battle, and will be the one who will be worshipped at the end of time. That is occult doctrine. That's always been the doctrine of the Kabbalah, the Kabbalist doctrine, and it has been the doctrine of Gnosticism. But of course, it's not what the Bible teaches, but then Catholicism doesn't teach what the Bible teaches either. Revelation 17, verses 12 to 14, talks about 10 horns you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received the kingdom, but who for 1 hour will receive authority as kings along with the beast. They have one purpose and will give their power and authority to the beast. And they will make war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will overcome them because he's Lord of lords and King of kings, and with him will be his called, chosen, and faithful followers. Now we're going to deal with the whole chapter of Revelation 17 at a later stage. But the kings of the world, here represented by these 10, will give their power to the system, just like in the Middle Ages, and enforce the doctrines on an entire world. Very interesting. This will be this beast from the bottomless pit. Now, Gary H. Carr, in his work En Route to Global Occupation, puts it this way. He says there were the ancient mystery religions, which come from Babylon, and they were pantheistic, of course, which means God is in nature, God is in everything, which in effect makes us God then too. This was inculcated in Kabbalism, was taken over in the Christian era in what is called Gnosticism, and the Knights Templars were the inner secret core that had the ancient knowledge of the mystics. This was carried further through Rosicrucianism, Freemasonry, and the Illuminati, which, according to Gary Carr, controls Marxism, American European secret societies and political societies, international banking, and the World Council of Churches. Now that sounds very strange. Is the World Council of Churches controlled by Freemasonry? We'll have to look into that in some detail. Then, of course, you have the entire New Age movement, the Theosophical societies, the many cults, and all these things are all controlled by this mechanism to make null and void the doctrine of salvation in Christ alone. That will be the final battle. And in order to achieve this, this woman has concealed herself and has hid herself in a garb of Christianity, and people receive the Goyim doctrine and do not know what the inner core doctrine is. That is quite something. Well, if we look at 1 Chronicles 16, verse 26, for all the gods of the people are idols, but the Lord made the heavens, tells us that idolatry is quite something that's rife on the earth. And Nimrod, the Lord of heaven, Tammuz, the pagan Messiah, and Semiramis, the queen of heaven, these find their origin in Babylon. And if you go through all the religions that were propagated in Lebanon, Phoenicia, Babylon, Assyria, Greece, Rome, Egypt, India, China, Mexico, Scandinavia, you have only this same picture under different names: Baal, Tammuz, Ashtoreth, El, Bacchus, Astarte, Belus, Tammuz, Rhea, Ishtar, Ninus, Hercules, Beltis, etc., etc. In Egypt, Ra, Osiris, or Horus, Isis, Hathor, India, Vishnu, Krishna, Isi, or Devaki, and so on and so on. Now, Romanism, the Roman Church, has taken this Trinity and made it Father, Mother, Child. which means that they must elevate the female to the point of deity. And we'll see how they did that and how they are doing that with the sanction of the Pope. So the true Trinity and the Roman Catholic Trinity are two different things. For the Goyim, it's Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. For the inner circle, it's Father, Mother, Child, which is none other than Baal, Tammuz, and Ashtoreth, if you want to take it back to those times. Jupiter is the god who is worshipped under Petrus, the rock. And Ubi Petri, where Peter is, there is the church. So here's another rock which takes the place of the true rock. Christianity and the secret societies, we could just summarize it as follows. The old Babylonian religion gave rise to Kabbalism. Via the Essenes and others, Gnosticism came into existence, and Gnosticism was founded by Simon Magus. This comes from no other source than History de la Magie and by Eliphas Levi. Wow, that's a high Masonic source. So Gnosticism founded by Simon Magus. Then this Gnosticism, with its secret doctrine, was eventually, over time, through many intermediary organizations, carried over to the Knights Templars. And the Knights Templars were a group of a Roman Catholic order, if you like, that were set over the temple site to protect it. And they had strong links to Islamic societies, the Ismailis, the Karmatites, the Fatimites, the Druzes, and the Assassins. And these are very, very interesting, and we'll be dealing with them when we talk about the Islamic connection, what the secret societies actually teach. Just like the Templars had two doctrines, one for the Goyim, the uninitiated, and one for the insiders, and the two diametrically opposed to each other. So the secret societies of Islam do exactly the same thing. But that's another lecture. Now the Templars, they had their secret inner information inculcated in the Rosicrucians and the Jesuits. The Jesuits, again, formed and created Freemasonry. And Freemasonry was created as the Protestant arm of the Roman Catholic Church. Unbeknown to them, beguiled, fooled, if you like, into doing the work that Rome wanted them to do, so that Rome could sit in the background while Freemasonry did it for them. And then it wasn't them, it was them. And it was mainly Protestants that were doing it, and not Rome. Very clever. Very, very clever indeed. So now let's have a look at these Knights Templars. Here are some of the representations. This is Desmaloy, the founder of the, or not the founder, but the leader at the time of its dissolution of the Knights Templars. This is what their dress looked like, if you like, and that is one of their symbols. It is a symbol that is used by many churches today. Did you know that? Many charismatic churches use that symbol. That's fascinating. And Jehovah's Witnesses use that symbol as well. We'll come to that in another lecture. Now let's have a look at what Nestor Webster, Secret Societies and Subversive Movements, has to say about the Templars. We're not going to read it all, but you can always, if you get the video, stop the quote. In the year 1118, 19 years after the First Crusade ended with the defeat of the Muslims, the capture of Antioch and Jerusalem, these groups were founded that were eventually established as the Templars, and they presented them with a house near the site of the Temple of Solomon, hence their name, Knights Templars. And they became very famous and a very powerful order which controlled all the finances, the financial world. They were the banking elite of the world, if you like. And then in the year 1128, the order was sanctioned by the Council of Troyes and by the Pope. It was a Roman Catholic order within the church. Now, some years later, October 13, 1307, this order was officially brought to an end by the King of France because it had come to light what they were doing, so it was said. The King of France, Philippe le Bel, had the Templars arrested, and the date was Friday the 13th, October 1307. And since that day, Friday the 13th is a day of bad luck for the entire world. And the charges brought against them were: the ceremony of initiation into the order was accomplished by insults to the cross and the denial of Christ, and gross obscenities. Gross obscenities. There were all kinds of things reminiscent of Sodom that had to take place there. The adoration of an idol, which was said to be the image of the true God, and that was Baphomet, this symbol over here of the androgenic male-female deity. The omission of the words of the consecration of the Mass, the right that the lay chiefs amongst themselves giving absolution, and authorization of unnatural vice. So they had to curse the cross, trample upon Jesus, swear allegiance to Baphomet, and sanction this with unusual vice. It's a pretty serious crime in those days, so he was sentenced to death. But the order actually didn't disappear. The Pope was very reluctant to say that it was so. Masonic ritual includes references to the Knights Templars. For example, here, Secret Societies and Subnervous Movements says, several knights who had set forth the rescue of the holy places of Palestine from the Saracens formed an association under the name of Freemasons, thus indicating that their principal desire was the reconstruction of the Temple of Solomon. And you hear a lot about the reconstruction of the Temple of Solomon today, and the story of Israel and all those interesting things. Now let's go a little bit into some of the history. I'm taking you to this beautiful palace. Where do you think it is? It's in Jerusalem, and it's Notre Dame Vatican. And this is where the Pope has his representation in Jerusalem. It's a palace for a king. There's the Vatican flag flying outside, and there's even a whole lane where you have some interesting papal artifacts. Now in Jerusalem, I went to look up the site of the Knights, and here is the Knights Palace, the Latin Patriarchate. This is where the Knights Templars originally had a site, and the Knights of the Papacy now control this area. This is their symbol that they use. That is also the Knight's shield, which is used by many religions today. The Rema Church uses that symbol, for example. These are the eternal warriors. That is the symbol that they use. There they are they kiss the Pope or the Patriarch's ring. They are knighted just like knights, and they knight highly prominent bankers and individuals such as that. Inside this church, you have, of course, the statue of Jupiter as Peter. Notice that the foot is well kissed. And I didn't want to kiss the foot, so I just stood there. And it is a very important church because both Pope Paul VI and Pope John Paul II visited this church, which is, of course, highly symbolic, and there are the plaques. And the Latin Patriarch, the Knights Palace. If you go inside, there's this interesting altar. And as you look at the altar, you'll see certain figures over here. This one over here is very interesting. Let me get it a little bit closer. And what do you see? You see the double-headed eagle, which is also the symbol that is used in Freemasonry. So there it is on the altar of the Knights. And what is there on this side? Two swords held like a compass. Fascinating. So there are many, many Masonic figures in here. The tail feathers and the feathers of the eagle, very reminiscent of what you have, for example, on the back of the dollar, and all those other interesting symbols of the circle with the triangle and the sun around it. And the inheritor of the Templar nuance are the Jesuits. Now, the Jesuits, of course, are the ones who behind the scenes control many things. They were founded on the 15th of August, 1534 by Ignatius Loyola and were sanctioned by the Pope on the 27th of September, 1540. So they were created, as it were, to stand against the Reformation. They were designed to destroy the Reformation. Loyola wanted the order to be champions of Catholic unity, and of course, submission to Christ's vicar, the Pope, was absolutely essential. Here you have the institution of Loyola's organization by the Pope on this particular day, and there are some interesting analogies which we will find here. Here, for example, there's considerable analogy between Masonic and Jesuitic degrees. And the Jesuits also tread down the shoe and bear the knee because Ignatius Loyola thus presented himself at Rome and asked for the confirmation of the order. Now, who existed first, Freemasons or the Jesuits? The Jesuits existed first, of course. They were to obey as a corpse, perite a cadaver. The reconstitutions repeat 500 times that one must see Christ in the person of the general, and even if God gave you a dog, you must obey him as though he were Jesus Christ himself. Loyola's statue in a Jesuit retreat, Loyola in vision, the Society of Jesus constituted in the Chapel Notre Dame, Notre-Dame, 1534, now the Chapel of the Sacred Heart in Paris. Many, many occult incrustations, and this is the famous Jesuit oath that each Jesuit makes when he becomes a Jesuit. That will tell us something about the character of the Jesuits. There it says, I, and he fills in his name, in the presence of God and all the saints and all these things, swear that His Holiness the Pope is Christ's vice-regent and is the true and only head of the Catholic Universal Church, etc. It also says here that this power was given by the Savior, Jesus Christ. He has power to dispose heretical kings, princes, states, commonwealths, governments, all being illegal without his sacred confirmation, and that they may safely be destroyed. So a Jesuit swears that if a government is not subject to Rome, it can be what? Destroyed. I further declare that I will help and assist and advise all or any of His Holiness's agents wherever I shall be, and do my utmost to extirpate the heretical Protestant or liberal doctrines. Liberal doctrines are doctrines where you decide what you believe. You take the liberty of making your own choice rather than allowing the Pope to do it for you, and that will be destroyed, and all their pretended powers. And that it doesn't matter where you send me in the world, I will obey. And I promise that I will have no opinion of my own. I will obey like a corpse. And I will make war, secretly or openly, against all heretics, Protestants, and liberals, as I am directed to do, to extirpate and exterminate them from the face of the whole earth. I will spare neither sex, age, nor condition, and I will hang, waste, boil, flay, strangle, bury alive these infamous heretics, rip up the stomachs and wombs of their women, crush their infants' heads against the wall in order to annihilate forever their execrable race. That's quite a nice Christian promise. Would you agree? Very Christian promise. Did they do it? Well, the Waldenses, they smashed the children's heads against the rocks to make the parents rescind. In the Ottoman Empire, that's an interesting story, in Serbia and in all those East Bloc countries where they occupied, they took the children, threw them in the air, and caught them on the ends of their bayonets. They were nice people. Now you will say that was Islam, that wasn't Jesuits. Well, debatable. We'll talk about it another time. And if I cannot do it openly, I will do it secretly. So that is what a Jesuit swears. This is the famous Pontifical Gregorian University in Rome, the most prestigious Catholic university in the world. The Jesuits, in all their enclaves, have their figures in caves. Now, in paganism, all the deities come out of the cave, and they have the letters IHS, which actually stand for Isis, Horus, Set, which is the Egyptian Trinity. They, of course, say it means Jesus hominum salvator, Jesus the Savior of men, but it doesn't. It means IHS, Isis, Horus, Set. And their symbol is the triangle with the all-seeing eye in it for this deity. They also use the pillar the stella, if you like. They have the symbol of the triangle with the eye in a circle, which is also the symbol used in the New Age movement. And we saw that Gary Carr says that Freemasonry controls the New Age movement and the Jesuits control the Freemasonry, or created it. This is the University of the Jesuits in Prague. On top of it, they have Atlas, not Jesus Christ. If you go to a more modern Jesuit enclave, like this one in Germany, I visited this. I'm quite cheeky sometimes. There I am. And took a picture, and inside they have this picture of Christ. This is not Christ. This is Atlas, holding the world on top of his shoulders, disguised. They have these symbols up against the wall. There, this symbol is the symbol of Hermes. If you take away the cross, then you have the symbol of Isis. This is paganism at its best. And these symbols over here are nothing. Here it is, Jesuit Kirche, when it was built, etc. And their symbolism, Maria, the M is the Masonic M, the triangle, Ria, the goddess. Here is a church in Germany, a cathedral. Inside, you will see this circle with a cross in it, the crossed swords, symbol of all symbols used also in Freemasonry. Now, if you go back to ancient Assyria, that was a very prominent cross. It was the Maltese cross. It comes from ancient paganism. They have the symbols of the star over here, two stars, one over the other, or two crosses, one over the other. They have the compass. They have the moon with a disc in it or a star in it, which is the symbol that Islam uses. For example, they have the solar calendar and the triple crown. All of these are used by the papacy. Upside down crosses represent victory over Christ. Hammers and compasses and sickles, these are symbols that are prevalent in the world. There's Jesus standing above the skull and crossbones, which is a symbol of Jupiter, the god Jupiter, who is a symbol, of course, who is Lucifer. Upside down crosses again. This is a very important cathedral in Europe, in Germany, where all the political leaders come together. If you go there, you will have Janus, the two-headed one. And then you have the statue so-called of David. But of course, it isn't David. It is the god Pan, because he has a pan flute in his hand. And David didn't play a pan flute. So I went to look for the dark side of Pan, because there's a light side and a dark side. And I found him. There he is, the hoofed one in the same cathedral. So they hide their occult symbolism. If you enter into the hallway, you find this over here. This is the god Anubis. It's got nothing to do with Christianity. There you have him as well. Plus you have the phoenix rising from the ashes. Plus you have the symbol of Jupiter and a whole host of other symbols over there. And in their side chapel, you have all the signs of the zodiac serving the various deities like Mars and Aquarius, etc. And the doorknob is a yin-yang. This has nothing to do with Christianity. They use the symbol of the compass and Jupiter and the PX symbol over there, which you will find in virtually every single Christian denomination upon the face of the earth. The phoenix rising from the ashes, the peacock, all symbols of Lucifer. Here you have the PX with a circle with a dot in it. And you say to yourself, but isn't that a symbol of Christianity? No, this is a symbol of Horus. This has got nothing to do with Christianity. They use pine cones. Let's ask Albert Mackey, 33-degree Freemason, to tell us what the symbol means. The point within the circle is an interesting and important symbol in Freemasonry. The symbol is really a beautiful but somewhat abstruse allusion to the old sun worship, and introduces us for the first time to that modification of it among the ancients, the worship of the phallus. So it's a pretty filthy symbol at that. It deals with male organs. Wow. So that comes from the horse's mouth. So that's what it means. Now, what's the PX mean? Let's go to the best Masonic source in the world, Morals and Dogma, page 292. And in case you don't believe me, I photocopied it so that you can see it. There you can see the symbol. Can you see that? It is the staff of Osiris. On the medal of Constantinople, in hoc signat eris, whatever the inscriptions. And then some other interesting things. So this is the staff of Osiris. And then he goes through the mystic Tau and the crosses and the stars of David. And then he uses this one as well. Interesting symbol. He says the vestment of the priest of Horus were covered with these crosses. That's a Maltese cross. Remember that I showed it to you on the Assyrian king? Now, who wears that on his vestments? Well, let's have a look. Oops, there it is. Who's wearing it? The Pope is wearing it. So what is he? He must be the priest of Horus. So to the outside world, it seems like Christianity, but to the inner circle, it's occultism. On the floor of the cathedral in London, you have the tricolour, which is the triple yin yang. And what does that mean? Well, let's go and ask the sources themselves. Celtic version of the yin yang. That's what it is. The tricolour, the sea, good luck, cauldron, Celtic goddess, the goddess of wisdom and witchcraft. Who was enthroned in the French Revolution? Goddess of reason, witchcraft, reason, all these things, same deity. On the floor of the same cathedral, you find the mystic Tau. What does the Tau represent? Let's ask another Mason, Ward. He says it's the symbol of the male creative side of the deity, sign language of the mysteries. So again, it has a sexual connotation. What's it doing on the floor of a cathedral? So the Jesuits are the heirs of the occult religion, and they control the world through their agencies. They stand in the background, create sub-organizations, and everybody thinks they are not active. Let's ask them themselves what they believe. Here is the history of the general of the Society of Jesus. These are all the generals, starting with Ignatius Loyola. They're all listed down there. We don't have to go through them all the way through to the present one that rules now, whose name is Peter Hans Kolvenbach. Nice German name. It's interesting that the Germans are very prominent in this. Peter Hans Kolvenbach is the head of the Jesuits. Cardinal Ratzinger, another German, is the head of the Inquisition. They seem to be pretty much in control. What does he look like? There he is, Peter Hans Kolvenbach. You're looking probably at one of the mightiest men on the earth today, if not the mightiest. He's the Black Pope. Here you have the cave of Loyola. Here you have George W. Bush and the Pope in audience with each other. And they don't do anything by chance. They just happen to do this exactly under that picture I showed you, where Loyola receives his commission from the Pope. Now, the ceremony of induction and the extreme oath of the Jesuits, Library of Congress, catalog card, there it is. You have been taught to insidiously plant the seeds of jealousy and hatred between communities, provinces, and states that were at peace, and incite them to deeds of blood, involving them in war with each other, and to create revolutions and civil wars in countries that were independent and prosperous, cultivating the art and the sciences and enjoying the blessings of peace, to take sides with the combatants, and to act secretly in concert with your brother Jesuit, who might be engaged on the other side, but openly opposed to that with which you might be connected, only that the church may be the gainer in the end, in the conditions fixed in the treaties for peace, and that the end justifies the means. Whoa! This is Hegelian science. Two opposing viewpoints, dialectic thinking. You war the one with the other, and you rub them up until nothing is left. It's called thesis, antithesis, and the resultant clash brings synthesis, that which you want. Now note that the Jesuit can be very active on the one side, but he can be equally active on the other side. So this is all a process whereby they wish to attain things. The 30-Year War. Now, what was that about? The aim and the object was that that war should in truth become a war of annihilation. Besides, was it possible for them to allow peace to be concluded with countries whose rebellious governments had issued a law ruling that no Jesuit should ever again dare to show his face? Do you know that the Jesuits were thrown out of virtually all countries, including Catholic ones, because they were so divisive? Catholic kings couldn't even take the Jesuits and threw them out. If a Catholic king dared to throw out the Jesuit, that country was destroyed, Catholic or not, and the Jesuits are back. You can take your bottom dollar for that. So, the frightful responsibility for this terrible 30 Years' War must rest upon the Emperor Ferdinand II and his teachers, rulers, and bosom friends, the sons of Loyola. Every single thing I'm saying is a quote. Popery, an enemy to civil religious liberty. In 1550, Pope Julius declared his claim to universal temporal political power, evidenced by a new coin he issued, its motto having read, "The nation and kingdom that will not serve me shall perish." Now, please note that this is a Roman Catholic statement, that the nation and the kingdom that does not serve the papacy will perish. What does that mean in terms of Protestant countries then? Are they going to be in trouble, yes or no? I would say yes, they will be in trouble. Thomas Aquinas, the great philosopher of the Roman Catholic Church, said, "The Pope by divine right has spiritual and temporal power as supreme king of the world. The Pope of Rome, as head of the papal government, claims absolute sovereignty and supremacy over all the governments of the earth." All the governments. All these quotes are highly potent quotes. There is nothing mediocre in these quotes, and they come from the highest sources. The right of deposing kings is inherent in the supreme sovereignty which the popes as vice-regent of Christ exercise over all Christian nations. Cardinal Henry Manning, 1892, he was Archbishop of Westminster. So, he is in control of all nations of the world. Now, it's interesting that the Bible tells us that these words were put on the Christ's cross at the crucifixion. Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. You read that in John 19:19. But the Roman Catholic crucifix has the words "INRI" written on it. Now, if you look it up in Webster's dictionary, it means Jesus Nazarenos Rex Iuderum. But in the extreme oath of the Jesuits, INRI means something totally different. It means Iustum necare reges impios, which means it is just to exterminate or annihilate impious or heretical kings, governments, or rulers. That's an interesting point. Now, another thing that they want to do is destroy Protestantism. We cherish at the bottom of our hearts this principle that whatever does not unite with us must be annihilated. And we hold ourselves ready to make, as soon as we shall have the means, an energetic application of these principles. Protestantism is already wearing out and sinking to decay. Yes, we are destined to insult its last agonies, to march over its broken skeleton and scattered bones. Oh, let us hasten this dissolution by our strong and united efforts. Then already they wrote, Protestantism is becoming decomposed, and we are gaining men of note. This is extracts from The Secret Plan. Those are the worst of the Catholics, the Inquisitors, the Jesuits. They are simply the Romish army for the earthly sovereignty of the world in the future, with the Pontiff of Rome for emperor. Something like a universal serfdom with them as master is what is being planned. That's all they stand for. They don't even believe in God, perhaps, the brothers Karamazov. All these quotes. The general of the Jesuits insists on being master sovereign over sovereigns. Wherever the Jesuits are admitted, they will be master, cost what it may. The society is by nature dictatorial, and therefore it is the irreconcilable enemy of all constituted authority. 50 Years in the Church of Rome, written by Father Chenikin. Ignatius Loyola says himself, the power of the general will be so unlimited that should he deem it necessary for the honor of God, he shall even be able to send back or in another direction those who have come direct from the popes. So this is a powerful order. Friedrich von Hartenberg said, never before in the course of the world's history has such a society appeared. The old Roman Senate itself did not lay schemes for world domination with greater certainty of success. They want world dominion, with the Pope enthroned as the universal ruler. The Roman Catholic Lafayette said, "It is my opinion that if the liberties of this country, the United States of America, are destroyed, it will be by the subtlety of the Roman Catholic Jesuit priests, for they are the most crafty, dangerous enemies to civil and religious liberty. They have instigated most of the wars of Europe." These are prominent people speaking. Morse, he's the founder of the Morse code, the inventor of the Morse code. He said, and who are these agents? They are for the most part Jesuits, an ecclesiastical order proverbial through the world for cunning, duplicity, and total want of moral principle, an order so skilled in all the arts of deception that even in Catholic countries, in Italy itself, it became intolerable and the people required its suppression. That's another prominent man. Archduke Maximal Francis said, "They have so constantly mixed themselves up in the court and state intrigues that they must in justice be reproached with striving after universal dominion." And we could go on and on and on. This is a very interesting one. This is Michelangelo Tamburni, 1720. This is the Jesuit of the general of the Jesuits, the general speaking to the Duke of Brancas. And he said the following: "See, my lord, from this room I govern not only Paris, but China. Not only China, but the whole world without anyone knowing how 'tis managed." Interesting. This is what the Jesuits themselves had to say. The Pope's confessor has to be a Jesuit. And the Pope himself has to come to a Jesuit to confess. The Vatican Empire, everything I say is a quote. This here is Jean-Baptiste Janssen. He ruled from 1946 to 1964, and he looks like a charming gentleman, very cheerful. But nevertheless, you can see that this photograph was taken from the Saturday Evening Post, 1959, and this is what he is in command of. And now we will want to deal with these issues in the next session. He controls the following secret societies: the Sovereign Military Order of Malta. So he is in control of the Knights of Malta. The Scottish Rite Shrine of Freemasonry, the Order of the Illuminati, the Knights of Columbus, the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, B'nai B'rith, the Nation of Islam and its private army called the Fruit of Islam, the Mafia Commission, Opus Dei, along with a host of lesser brotherhoods. So each one of those secret societies is controlled by the Jesuits. Persecution of the Catholic Church in Germany has been directed only against those elements which did not entirely submit to the ever-increasing centralization of authority in church and state. So sometimes it looks as if even the Catholics are suffering, but only those Catholic groups that are not totally submissive to this system will be subjugated. Some Catholic orders were actually opposed to the Jesuits. They were killed, they were wiped out. In the French Revolution, the Dominicans had taken over the Inquisition from the Jesuits. Boom, they were zapped. And the Jesuits took it back. Its objective was, and is still, to destroy the effects of the Reformation and to re-establish the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation. A greater Germany, in other words, must be made again the center of a revived Holy Roman Empire. Leo H. Lehman, 1942, an American historian, said that. Isn't it fascinating that the Russian president, or a Russian president, let me put it that way, and many political leaders have given the assurance that Germany will once again play a greater role in the new Europe today. Isn't it also fascinating that it was a Jesuit priest, Father Stempfler, and not Hitler, who wrote Mein Kampf? In fact, you can read it on Mein Kampf itself. Now, the SS used this symbol of the skull and crossbones. What was that a symbol of? Do you remember? It was the symbol of Jupiter, the god Jupiter, the god of death. It's also the symbol of Osiris, who was the god of death. Anubis is just another form of Osiris. He is the god of death. He's the god of the dead. But Jesus says, I am the God of the living. I am not the God of the dead. I'd rather serve the God of the living. The SS was organized by Himmler according to Jesuit order principles. The rules of service, spiritual exercises prescribed by Ignatius Loyola constituted a model which Himmler strove carefully to copy. Absolute obedience was the supreme rule. Every order had to be executed without comment. Every single statement is being read from a reputable source. Again, in that wonderful book, The Great Controversy, we get an idea of the Jesuits. Throughout Christendom, Protestantism was menaced by formidable foes. The first triumphs of the Reformation past, Rome summoned new forces hoping to accomplish its destruction. At this time, the order of the Jesuits was created. Notice what this quote says. The most cruel, unscrupulous, and powerful of all the champions of popery, cut off from every earthly tie and human interest, dead to the claims of natural affection, reason, and conscience, wholly silenced. They knew no rule, no tie, but that to their order, and no duty but to extend its power. We don't have to read the whole quote. But they made it their business to destroy Protestantism. The Jesuit order, therefore, stands before us as the embodiment of a system which aims at temporal political domination, and that over the whole world. You will say to me, surely China will not be subject? Well, we already read a quote by the Jesuit general himself where he says he controls China. Who controls communism? The Jesuits created it, and therefore they controlled it. They practiced it in their South American examples where they practiced it before they instituted it. Very interesting. This is Count von Hernsbruch, 1911, German noble and ex-Jesuit, who says this very thing. At what then do the Jesuits aim? According to them, they seek the greater glory of God, but if you examine the facts, you will find they aim at universal dominion alone. It is they who rule the world. One quote after the other. Moreover, the Pope has thousands of secret agents worldwide. They include the Jesuits, the Knights of Columbus, the Knights of Malta, Opus Dei, and others. The Vatican's intelligence service and its field resources are second to none. Even Dave Hunt, American Baptist historian, says that. So let's have a look at some of these institutions. Let's have a look at Freemasons. The Grand Design Exposed says, the truth is the Jesuits of Rome have perfected Freemasonry to be their most magnificent and effective tool, accomplishing their purposes among Protestants. Now, surely the members of Freemasonry themselves must be deceived, because if they saw it, they wouldn't do it, right? So actually, the order is being used and they themselves are deceived. And only within the order, higher up, are those chosen ones who know, and they are controlled by the Jesuits for Rome. Very clever. Very clever to make Protestantism do what you cannot do openly because you have been fingered by Protestantism as the Antichrist. So this is very interesting. This is a Templar fortress and a church on the island Mallorca, Spain. And there again, you have the double-headed eagle, and you can go to virtually any church on that island, and you will find the double-headed eagle over the altars of these churches. As I've said, Adam Weishaupt was the father of Jacobinism, and he is the one who is also the founder of the Illuminati. From the Jesuit college at Ingolstadt, it is said to have issued the sect known as the Illuminati of Bavaria, founded by Adam Weishaupt, its nominal founder, however, seems to have played a subordinate, though conspicuous role in the organization of the sect. You see, again, they use a front and a front and a front. Now, here are two Jesuit generals. This one over here is General Ricky, and this is General Ledochowski. And very interesting, this one over here, 1773 to 1840, he ruled during the order's suppression. Now notice this, the Vatican itself suppressed the Jesuits between 1773 and 1840. What happened to the Vatican in that time? There was a mortal wound, and the Pope was taken into exile and he died. Isn't that correct? So who gave the mortal wound to the papacy? The own order in the own church, power struggle. And he created, in his time, the Illuminati was created through Weishaupt, and of course, is also the father of modern communism, who with his Jacobins conducted the French Revolution. Years later, Jesuit General Ledochowski with his Bolsheviks conducted the Russian Revolution in 1917, and it's identical to the other revolution. And I will deal with that when I give a lecture on revolutions and wars and dictators later in the series. France's greatest authority on the Jesuits, Edmond Paris, said, the Russian Revolution, by eliminating the Tsar, protector of the Orthodox Church, had it not decapitated the great rival and helped the penetration of the Roman Church, we must strike while the iron is hot. The famous Russicum, Russian College of Rome, is created in 1929, and its clandestine missionaries will take the good news to its schismatic country. 1 century after their expulsion by Tsar Alexander I, the Jesuits will again undertake the conquest of the Slav world. And did the poor Slavic world suffer? They were slaughtered by the millions. History will show what happened there when Stalin, probably one of the greatest mass murderers of all time, did his thing. Frederick the Great, so-called, of Prussia, caused the high degrees of Masonic constitutions of the ancient rite to be revived, and he himself wrote the constitutions under the guide of the Jesuit general. Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, Albert G. Mackey says that himself. Very interesting. And now notice this. This is a source that's unbelievable. This is Isis Unveiled by Blavatsky herself, the author of Secret Doctrine. She says that the rites are the offspring of the sons of Ignatius Loyola. The Scottish Rite and all of these worked under the instructions from the general of the Jesuits. So who controlled Freemasonry? The Jesuits, there's no doubt about it. Here, we have confirmed the induction of the Knights Templar Mason into the councils of the said order of knighthood, and hoping and confiding that he will ever be so demean himself as to conduct to the glory of IHS, the most holy and almighty God, and to the honor of the mark we do recommend. There's a ritual in Freemasonry which is totally Jesuit. So the Jesuits control Freemasonry. Here's a Freemason temple, if you like. It's in Oklahoma. There is IHS. This is a Freemason temple. It's a lodge. There is IHS in it. There are still old ladies, male and female, about the country who will tell you with grim gravity that if you trace up Masonry through all its orders till you come to the grand tip-top head Mason of the world, you will discover that the dread individual and the chief of the Society of Jesus are one and the same person. James Patron, American historian. There are many that say these things. Knights of Malta. The Freemasons are in the foreground, while the Jesuits and the Knights of Malta are in the background. The Jesuits control even the Knights of Malta. Now, who are they? Well, they are headquartered in Rome, these knights. They used to be on an island, but besides that, they used to be a military order. They are still a military order. They are knights. They control the banking of the world, the industry of military complexes of the world. They oversee Chase Manhattan Bank with all its branches. They rule all the intelligence communities, the KGB, the CIA, and all of these things to restore the Dark Ages. Everything I'm saying is a quote. I'm saying nothing. Don't accuse me of saying anything. I'm just reading. Who are they? Well, here's the head of the Knights of Malta at the moment in America. Well, he's dead now. This is Francis Joseph Cardinal Spellman, Cardinals of New York. And their headquarters is St. Patrick's Cathedral, the diocese of the Archbishop of New York. There are the various ones. Here's Terence Cardinal Cook, then was Cardinal O'Connor, and currently Cardinal Archbishop of New York, Edward M. Egan. Now let's have a look who the members of the Knights of Malta are. That should be interesting. Some past, some present. General Alavena, George Anderson, Angleton, Azru, Bertie, Bobs, Bonaparte. Does that name ring a bell? Borges, Bradley, Brady, Pat Buchanan. Does that name ring a bell? James Buckley, Prescott Bush. Does that ring a bell? Frank Capra, William Casey. Does that ring a bell? CIA, Cisnero, Cooks, Coughlin, Loach, Giscard d'Estaing. Does that ring a bell? President of France, Bill Donovan, Alan Dulles, Avery Dulles, Edward Egan, that's of course the Cardinal himself, Franz Egon, John Farrell, Flanagan, Flynn, Gelly, Galen, Gorman, Grace, General Alexander Haig. Does that ring a bell? Otto von Habsburg, wow. Conrad Hilton, Heinrich Himmler, he was Knights of Malta. J. Edgar Hoover, FBI, CIA fame. Joseph Kennedy, Ted Kennedy, Larkin, Lehman, Lorenza, Luce, Henry Luce, founder of all the great magazines and Time magazine and all of them. Great publishing magnate, MacDonald, Manhattan, you name them, all of them. O'Neill, Otis, Franz von Papen, the legate who worked with Adolf Hitler, Perón, Rocco. The list goes on and on and on. Frank Shakespeare, Martin Shea, even Frank Sinatra was a Knight of Malta for interest's sake. So there are prominent men who are Knights of Malta. Now, what about the Knights of Columbus? The founder of the Knights of Columbus is Father Michael McGivney. He lived a very short time, then he died. He was very young. He died at the age of 38. There is their emblem, and this is their official home webpage. You can just take it straight off, and you can see something fascinating. What is that? Hello? Do you remember what it is? A little bundle of rods that you also found in the French Revolution right there in the Manifest of Human Rights. What is it? Fasciae. And they've got a wreath around them. What does that mean? All power in one man. Who will that man be? Who do the Knights Columbus, founded by a Roman Catholic priest, want to see the power vested in? The Pope, of course. The Knights of Columbus, founded at New Haven, Connecticut, 1882. Then it was already considered 300,000 strong. Only Roman Catholics are eligible. It is initiative to service in 4 degrees. It's the heart and soul of politics. You cannot get into politics if you don't have the stamp of approval of these guys. The fact is well known to political machines and non-Catholic politicians whose candidates must receive the approval of Rome and the Knights before they dare nominate them for either dog pound or presidency. The Knights of Columbus' principal business is politics, a Jesuitical politics. So Menace to the Nations, Jeremiah Crowley, is the quote. These are serious accusations. There they are, with their fasciae, which will become clearer as we go on, and we can see where we are heading. For today, Rome considers listen to this. Today, Rome considers the fascist regime the nearest to its dogmas and interests. We have not merely the Reverend Jesuit Father Coughlin praising Mussolini's Italy as a Christian democracy, but their official magazine, which is Civiltà Cattolica, this is the official Jesuit magazine, says This is the house organ of the Jesuits, says, fascism is the regime that corresponds most closely to the concepts of the Church of Rome. This is scary. Have you noticed lately that there is more and more control? Have you noticed some of these things? Have you noticed that you are being treated more and more like someone who has to bow 20,000 times before the powers? Then there is the organization Opus Dei. Is a semi-secret religious lay order with paramount objective is total support of the papacy. And these people walk around with clamps that tear into their flesh so that they have constant pain with every movement to remind them of their obligation. And they have high members, like presidents, for example, of Portugal is an Opus Dei member. Then we have the Skull and Bones organization. And who are they? Well, they have this interesting skull and bones. What does it represent? You know that by now. Jupiter. And they have the number 322. If you look up Genesis chapter 3, verse 22, you will find, now man has become as like one of us, knowing good and evil, raising man to the level of deity. This is Yale University, the place where they are. Now let's consult one of the greatest authorities on skull and bones. That is Anthony Sutton. Let's ask him who he is. Educated at the Universities of London, Göttingen, California, former research fellow at the Hoover Institute, Stanford University, as well as economics professor of California State University. He had the guts to speak out and write a book, and it cost him dearly. But nevertheless, let's quote him. There is the book, Anthony Sutton, America's Secret Establishment, An Introduction to the Order of Skull and Bones. So that I don't say it, let's quote it. Skull and Bones, it's over, it's Bush. Bush won the election. Let's watch this video.
Yale University, the scions of America's first families confess their sexual exploits from a gruesome coffin. In a smoke-filled room, a handful of power brokers manipulate the global economy. These are the purported activities of some of America's secret societies, groups with names like Bilderberg, Skull and Bones, and the Trilateral Commission. The Skull and Bones Society is founded in 1832 by 15 seniors at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut. They establish a secret society with rules and rituals that remain unchanged to this day. The Skull and Bones initiation ceremony is said to be held in April in the tomb's basement. One distinguished member serves as master of ceremonies. Once enrobed, he is known as Uncle Toby. The shortest senior is appointed Little Devil and dons a satanic costume. A bonesman with a deep voice is dressed as Don Quixote. Another is dressed as the college's founder, Elihu Yale. Still another is given papal vestments. It would all be funny if it weren't for the fact that among the former bonesmen are 3 presidents: William Howard Taft, George Bush, George W. Bush, numerous senators and ambassadors, industrialists like William Whitney, CIA agents, State Department officials, and publishing magnate Henry Luce. Absolute secrecy is also required. In his 1999 autobiography, George W. Bush devotes just one sentence to his membership in Skull and Bones. Quote, "My senior year, I joined Skull and Bones, a secret society so secret, I can't say anything more." The secrecy, according to some researchers, is there to protect the fact that Skull and Bones funnels its initiates into positions of power and influence.
The best-known bonesman is ex-President George Bush, who, according to tradition, is supposed to avoid admitting he's a member.
Mr. President, are you a member of Skull and Bones?
American Journal got a similar response when we recently asked George Bush Jr., the governor of Texas, about his membership.
Does it still exist? I mean, the thing is so secret, I'm not even sure it still exists.
Okay, so you see that George W. Bush is a member. They lie in a coffin. They bow down before a papal figure, swear allegiance. They do all kinds of weird sexual things in a coffin, which I'm not going to explain what they do here. It's pretty vile. And these are the presidents of the most powerful countries in the world, and they belong to secret societies such as this. The order, what it is and how it began, those on the inside know it as the order. Others have known it for more than 150 years as Chapter 322 of a German secret society. That is very important. In fact, this was discovered when they broke in and stole some of the papers at that institution. It is officially known as the Russell Trust of 1856, or as the Brotherhood of Death, because they serve the god of death, who happens to be Anubis, if you like, Osiris, if you like, or Jupiter. The American chapter of the German order was founded in 1833 at Yale University by General William Huntington Russell, and Taft, the only man to be both president and chief justice of the United States. Interesting. Now, the German order, what does this actually mean? The Illuminati had its origin at the University of Ingolstadt, and recruits were from the student Incorps. Of course, they had to be students with high connections, you know, sons of very high insiders. The order had its origin in Yale in 1833, but Skull and Bones is a chapter of a German secret society. So which organization does it represent? Active members have enough influence to push their sons and relatives into the order, and there's significant intermarriage amongst the families, and they fall into major categories, two major categories. We find old line American families, second, families who occupy great wealth. When he's initiated into the order, he says, tonight he will die to the world and be born again into the order, as he will henceforth refer to it. The order is a world unto itself, in which he will have a new name and 14 new blood brothers, also with new names. Now, there's also a British chapter, which was established at Oxford University and All Souls College, and the British element is called the Group. So the Skull and Bones is not the only one. You have the Group, and then you have a European order as well. So the Group links to the Jewish equivalent through the Rothschilds, the Inner Circle, and so there is a worldwide secret organization which has the highest individual in industry, government, all facets of life. And they actually are the most prominent rulers in the world today. And if they are a chapter of a German society, then they are the Illuminati. And George W. Bush said that there are 1,000 points of light illuminating the world at the moment. It's interesting that the order writes many constitutions. The members write constitutions. For example, Archibald MacLeish, who is a member of Skull and Bones, or was, he wrote the Constitution of UNESCO. Now, we're going to have to deal with UNESCO and find out what it's about. Churches, the Union Theological Seminary is under the control of Skull and Bones. A very interesting seminary. We'll deal with these in more detail in another lecture. Major establishment of law firms, communications and industry, the Federal Reserve, and all of these are controlled by the order. This is how Chapter 322 operates. There's a central inner core. Notice that this is actually the all-seeing eye, the wedge of the eye, but that's something else. There's an inner core, there's an inner circle, there's an outer circle, there's an Atlantic Circle, the Bohemian Club, notice there, Bohemian Club, part of Skull and Bones, Pilgrim Society, Penumbra Order, Chapter 322 of the Order, the Trilateral Commission. That's how it's put together. You could basically put it this way: Council of Foreign Relations, United Nations, Bilderbergs, Club of Rome, Royal Institute of International Affairs, and the Trilateral Commission, with the Illuminati controlling everything on the inside, forming basically the round table. Now, you saw that the Bohemian Club is part and parcel of the issue. Now, what is this Bohemian Club? Well, here's the Bohemian Grove. The August 2, 1982 edition of Newsweek reported This is just another quote. The world's most prestigious summer camp, the Bohemian Grove, is now in session 75 miles north of San Francisco. It's in a forest. It's a fortress. But strangely, even fortresses can be breached, and one enterprising journalist managed to sneak in. The fiercely guarded 2,000-acre retreat is the country's extension of San Francisco's all-male, ultra-exclusive Bohemian Club, to which every Republican president since Herbert Hoover have belonged. This is just a quote. This is the Bohemian Grove ceremony, which was photographed or videotaped, very darkly, of course, very secretly, by one journalist, which caused a major furor. Now you can see very little in the slide, so I'll explain to you what's happening there. In this forest, the men appear naked. Naked. They have to walk around naked. In fact, some members have left the society because they're tired of walking around naked. Now imagine every president of the United States has been a member of the Bohemian Grove. And just imagine, the priests are dressed in vestments, papal vestments, and they pay homage to an owl because the owl sees in darkness. It has illumination. There are other rituals which I do not want to talk about that happen between all these naked men. And if you read your Bibles, you will find that those who worshipped in the groves were called the perverted ones.
He is eternal, and we bow to beauty everlasting. For lasting happiness, return to one alone, and she surrounds you now. Great nature, refuge of the weary heart.
We bow to one alone, great nature.
He is ever faithful. Other friends may fail, so must he come as children. Little children that believe nor ever doubt her beauty and her faith. Bohemian and priest, our funeral pyre awaits the corpse of care. Prince of all mortal wisdom, Owl of Bohemia, we beseech thee, grant us thy counsel.
Owl of Bohemia, grant us thy counsel. Well, that's just a part of the ritual, which shows that it is nature worship. It is condemned in the Bible, and yet, who are the members? Let's continue. This is an article in Mother Jones, August 1981, volume 6, page 28, and reports who the prominent members were. For example, George P. Schultz, Stephen Batchelor, Gerald Ford, Henry Kissinger, William Buckley. Can you imagine them all walking around naked, worshipping a stupid owl? I mean, that's so pathetic. Fred Hartley, Griffin, Haywood, Coors, Teller, Ronald Reagan, Clausen, George Bush, William French Smith, etc., etc., etc. It is pathetic. Modus operandi of the order. The activities of the order are directed towards changing our society, changing the world, to bring about a new world order. This will be a planned order with heavily restricted individual freedom. That's fascism. And I will show you the papal encyclicals that will make your hair stand on edge as to what is going to happen all over the world. And believe me, I live in a country where it's being implemented. And you can see it happening every single day. It is scary. But you don't have to be afraid if you know why it's happening. If you do not know why it is happening, you will despair, and there are thousands who are putting bullets through their head because they cannot tolerate it. 4,000 farmers driven off the land and murdered in my country alone. They lose everything. They lose hope. They put bullets through their heads. They wipe out their entire families because it's better for them to die than to live with it. And you know what? You give a lecture like this and you show what's behind it and why it's behind it, And guess what? They get hope. Because they see it's not just them and not something they don't understand. Once they start understanding the bigger picture, they gain hope. And they say, wow, so it's not really the end for us, because this is simply the sign that Jesus is coming soon and there will be a better kingdom. Let us give our lives to Jesus Christ, because this world has nothing to offer. And they get hope. No constitutional protection if you go against it. They control education. I'll show you how in the lectures. Money, law, politics, economy, history, psychology, philanthropy, medicine, religion, media. There is nothing that they do not control. And remember, they are neither left nor are they right. So if there are right-wing parties and left-wing parties, they control them what? Both. That's the Hegelian principle. That's Hegelian logic. Remember that both Marx and Hitler, the extremes of left and right, presented as textbook enemies, evolved out of the same philosophical system, Hegelianism, that brings screams of intellectual anguish from Marxists and Nazis. Remember that the Jesuits were told that they must serve on this side and the other side. Remember that? And create conflict between the sides. This conflict of opposites is essential to bring about the change that they want. Today, this process can be identified in the literature of the Trilateral Commission, for example, where change is promoted under conflict management. Have you heard that name before? Right, conflict is essential. The state is absolute. So the state must have total control. That means the people must relinquish their rights to the state. Do you see that happening in the United States at the moment? Absolutely. So the state requires complete obedience. An individual does not exist for himself in these so-called organic systems, but only to perform a role in the operation of the state. That's exactly what it was like under Nazism. Here's Hegel. The two, Hegel and Kant, are the philosophers behind the system. I was stunned. I was in Europe 4 weeks ago, in Germany, and the leaders, the presidents of Germany, went down and put down wreaths in front of these people's graves and said, their philosophy has made the new Europe possible. They honored them. What a terrible, I would almost say satanic, well, why not just say it, philosophy? The Illuminati principle that the end justifies the means is also the principle of the group and the order, which is skull and bones. That means you can do anything, no matter how dastardly, as long as you achieve your aim. There's an outer circle, an inner core, all of these. Council of Foreign Relations is the outer circle, Trilateral Commission, all of those. Trilateral Commission was founded by David Rockefeller, comprises 200 members worldwide. The Bundy operation, activism towards a new world global order. George W. Bush, who was a member of Skull and Bones, remember, says that it's a big idea, a new world order where diverse nations are drawn together in a common cause. Only the United States has both the moral standing and the means to back it up. So do you think they're trying to get all the countries of the world to come into this system, yes or no? Do you think it's possible that they are giving their power to a woman who rides them? Does it look like it? Who controls them? The Jesuits. And who do the Jesuits say all power must be under? The Pope. Isn't that correct? All right. So who do you think would clamor for a new world order more than anyone else? Maybe the Pope. Wouldn't that be interesting? Well, here he is. New international order urged for the sake of peace. When? January 3, 2004. His whole New Year's speech was dedicated to asking for the implementation of the New World Order. Vatican City, January 1, 2004. John Paul II started the new year by insisting that peace is possible and thus a duty, and he called for a new international order. CNN, what did that have to say? Pope calls for a new world order. Thursday, January 1, 2004. Vatican City, Pope John Paul rang in the new year on Thursday with a renewed call for peace in the Middle East and Africa and the creation of a new world order based on respect for the dignity of man and equality amongst nations. What did he say? This year, Pope John Paul directed his thoughts to the continuing conflict around the globe, but he stressed that to bring about peace, there needs to be a new respect for international law and the creation of a new international order based on the goals of the United Nations. He called for an order that is able to give adequate solutions to today's problems based on the dignity of the human being. This is human rights. On an integral development of society, on solidarity amongst nations, rich and poor, on the sharing of resources and the extraordinary results of scientific and technical process. You know, sharing of resources. Have you heard of that before? Well, there's another term for it. It's called redistribution of wealth. Have you heard of that before? Right. Now, let me redefine that for you. To redistribute wealth means to take the wealth from the one who has it and give it to one who has not got it. Is that correct? Now, if you do that, which nations of the world will be hardest hit? The Catholic ones or the Protestant ones? The Protestant ones are the rich nations. Everywhere you can draw a line. Now, I will show you in the lectures that come that there are encyclicals which define how the redistribution is to take place. And how it is happening and how the encyclical says it should take place is what I can see happening in my country without the government lifting a finger against it. It is defined by need, as we will see. Now, there's another word for taking from one who has and distributing it to someone who does not have. It's called theft. Stealing. Thou shalt not steal, says the Bible. The Pope in Rome says, thou shalt steal. He does. Literally, I'll show you his encyclical. You will be stunned. This new world order is going to be an exciting place. I don't want much part of it. Fortunately, my God says, my kingdom is not of this world. If it were, they would fight for me, but it is not of this world. My kingdom is up there. There where your treasure is, there your heart will be. I have managed, because I live where I live, to loosen myself from that which I own, because I know that it means nothing anymore. Do you know that in my country, if you go on a holiday and you stay away for a while and you come back and your house is occupied, that you cannot put the new tenants out, even if the house is yours? Did you know that? Because they have need, therefore they have the right to take it, whether you own it or not. And this is not a joke, this is a fact. Scary. But who cares? I serve a God who has promised the most wonderful things, even temporal things, to those who serve him. Wonderful promises. I go to prepare a place for you, and I will come again to take you where I am also. In my Father's house are many rooms. I go. Actually, it doesn't mean rooms, it means mansions. God has prepared things for us which make this world sick by comparison. So let them have their kingdom, let them have their fun, because my God says this world will come to an end and the kingdom of God will reign forever and ever and ever. Don't miss the next lectures We're now on a roller coaster ride that will take you to exciting places. Thank you for coming.
Okay. We got 125 people in the room. I hope we have 125 likes. Hello, Phoenix, Mr. Waldo, Ishmael, J. Mar, and all the rest of y'all I didn't get a chance to holler at. What y'all say? I want to answer a few things. First of all, we got to quit blaming each other and civil rights. I heard a video the other night, somebody blaming the civil rights movement. This is, I just showed this video to show you this is before a civil rights movement. It's bigger than the Ku Klux Klan because he put them way down at the bottom of the line. But what he did not put in that list, and we need to stop saying that, he would have said the civil rights movement was being used also as a leg. He did not name the civil rights movement. I was in the civil rights movement, but I wasn't aware of all of this when I got in. But I'll tell you what, everybody in civil rights is not knowing, even today, the stuff I just brought to you all. Okay? That's why I'm doing this. We fighting amongst each other, changing our names, organizing fake tribes that has no paperwork. That's the wrong road. That's the road they want you to go down. Did not he said that they made it understood they were gonna make us fight each other. I want to ask Phoenix to come to the stage. I'm fixing to put the link. Want to hear from some of the audience because what we don't understand when we fighting each other, we individually are a part of this. Are y'all understanding that?
Yes.
You cannot say you're not a part if you up here just blaming other people. The civil rights movement, these people were suffering. Their children were suffering. It cost us out there in the civil rights movement. We wasn't making money. Yeah, somebody might have made money, but it wasn't everybody. Okay? I'm going to try to read some of what y'all doing. I'm going to try to get this link over here to Phoenix right quick so she can come on into the room. So I'm going to pause me, read a few of the things I want y'all to discuss with each other, what you're seeing while I'm doing. Okay, Phoenix, I didn't text you over the link. Yeah, Sunflower, it was heavy.
Yes.
It give y'all something to eat on for a little minute. Okay? We gotta refocus what we are fighting and who we blaming. We gotta start teaching. Mr. Waldo did ask you to come on stage for a minute. I saw that up there, so I'm sending you the link. Check your text message, you and Phoenix. I want y'all to understand. We gotta stop taking the petty stuff. This man named everything to what's happening right now. Somebody want to jump to the civil rights and Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King just was back there a few years back. He died in 68. I just took you back hundreds of years into other countries that this was organized and structured. And some of us have played a role in it, unbeknown to us. We play a role when we purchase their products. We play a role when we put our money in their banks. What about when the kids come along and say, our grandparents banked with Chase Bank? What we gonna do? You're gonna tell your grandkids, somebody gonna tell your grandkids you didn't know when you was banking with Chase Bank, you was putting money into the same system that was there to destroy you? A lot of stuff we working in darkness because it was done through secret societies. It wouldn't have been called a secret society if they was making it public. Ronnie, that's right. Cuz up there, we're on a positive line now.
Yes.
Okay? And the man told you the God they brought here is not the God you praying to. They're not praying to God that created nothing. They told you about the people out there doing their nature worship. And that's the same people that took over and became the civilized, recognized tribe in the 5,000 and some federally recognized tribe. Why could they get recognized? They members was at the top, stemming down the power to them. So there could be power from the bottom to the top. I told you that chessboard. That chessboard ain't nothing nice. And black folks want to try to create the chessboard. The chessboard was created in other countries and brought here. Are y'all with me on that? While I'm waiting on things to come into the background, I want to hear from some of y'all. Let me see what y'all saying about this video. Because we got to let people know this is bigger than a Ku Klux Klan and civil rights. This came from a higher authority. And then people out here trying to put their own chessboards together. You can't put a new chessboard together. The chessboard was already put together. I had someone tell me one time they was playing chess, not checkers. If we don't stop battling each other, it's going to be checkmate on us. We need to educate ourselves to how this system actually empowered themselves to hold us down. Waiting on Phoenix to come on while we on there. If you really learned something tonight, if you really got something that making you think tonight, talk to me. Tell me. Tell me, did I waste my time tonight? Because what's not on that board, you didn't see nobody looking like us making the decisions, so we can't keep blaming each other. That's right, baby, it's monopoly. That's just what it is right there. It's monopoly. And that's why Chief came out here to do this. I got some of my members on here. They know this is what we talk about. This is what we always talk about. This is what I was dealing with when some black folks call themselves playing chess and checkers on me. They wasn't playing chess and checkers on me. They was playing on themselves. What y'all think about tonight? If you like what we was doing tonight, send some fire. If you're learning something, send learning and fire. Let me know y'all with me out here. I need to know it, because I don't have time to be wasted. Thank you. I'm not wasting my time. You know, some dishes when you cook, it take a long time to raise the stuff and get it together and get it to the house, prepare it, cook it, and then serve it. This is one of these kind of dishes we dealing with. We dealing with a dish that takes time. This is not an overnight process right here. I'm sure the power came after him, but it looked like he didn't care. He was tired. He was tired. So he told it all. He told who it was. Y'all see who it is? See, that's the chessboard. And we are not a part of that chessboard. Not to win. That's right, Jamar. Slow cooker. Jamar, I want you to come on over here too. I want you to tell me what you say about tonight. Because what she's trying to tell y'all, let's read. I told y'all, we got to retreat, regroup, reorganize ourselves, relearn and return. This is the way I teach my people. If you want to know history, you want to know about the Bible, you want to know about this, let's see where these two things go to the foundation. I said in the beginning of this video. A lot of people didn't know what I was talking about. Okay? When I told Kellogg we have to start at the beginning. Y'all know Kellogg and all of them was a part of some of this stuff that was going on. They put money into these things. They back these things. Did you hear the man saying that money come back down? They can go in on the purpose of wealth. Okay? We got to start looking at this. We got to re-educate ourselves. Phoenix, there you go. I saw somebody put by Obama. Obama, far as I know, he wasn't a part of the civil rights movement that I was a part of. I met Obama like y'all met Obama. But asked me what I was fighting and still fighting today. I didn't change my civil rights fight. This is still my civil rights fight. Bringing the truth to my people and teaching them as I learn. Okay? I want us to understand everybody in the church not bad. I'm not here today to try to get nobody out of their church beliefs. But like the man say, you need to know what's really going on. Stop blaming everybody for what could be something that you actually financing yourself. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? If you understand me, say, Chief, we hear you. Because we blaming people, but we not paying attention to what we blaming other people for, because we can be a part of our own demise. I said about the name changing and all that. I wasn't being rude. I'm going to go back again in this video one more time now that you done watched this. I was out here, whoever was saying it, I was out here for a lot of other people. Let's back me up. I've been out here trying to tell people, just like that man been out there trying to tell people. Not our fault if you don't understand it here, but I'm trying to make sure you hear it.
All glory go to the Creator. It's an honor to be here today. But I love the theme, American healing. Well, first, let's think about something. Where did America come from? Have it always been America? Or was it just created to be America? Who are the real Americans? America keep changing and changing and changing. Let's go back in time when the American Indians looked like I look and roamed the southeast part of the United States freely. I love what the mayor said. We have to tell the truth. We cannot heal America till we fix the foundation. Can we start right there?
Y'all understand now better what I was saying back then? Yeah, Davida, a lot of them use my image and voice without my permission, without even knowing what I was talking about. Y'all see what I'm talking about? I'm not here to change you on your religious belief. I'm not here to change you on nothing. I'm here to show you what you're really dealing with. This is what you're working with. Okay? This is why I said it don't make sense to change nothing but your way of thinking and understanding what's really happening in this country. Phoenix, I'm finna send this to you again by text. I hope you get it this time. Y'all, Phoenix is trying to get in here, and we're gonna have her in a second. For some reason, Phoenix, I couldn't get it to come out to you like I was trying, but here it come. Come in here, hear what you guys say about it. I'm not here trying to recruit for nobody. There you go, Jazz. We didn't have the real stuff. The man said it was put into the schools, it was put into the churches. People of color just got a little rights through the civil rights. I saw somebody with a video saying the civil rights didn't give nothing. If civil rights wouldn't have gave something, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing today. Do y'all understand this? Stop saying that the civil rights leaders sold you out. You've been still on the back of the bus. We didn't own no bus companies all across this country. I went to schools before they were integrated. We had books with pages missing. We had to slide our chairs together. If somebody in the room had the page in their book. We got hand-me-down books because you have to go through their system of education. You didn't have the rights that you have now even to open up a homeschooling. Your people would have went to jail if they didn't send you to school. You're talking about when somebody opened the door where you can go to school with a whole book, not a piece of book. Come on now. Don't compare today the rights that you see you have gotten since 68 and try to plaster that around everybody who was trying their best without the internet to reach and educate. I heard someone on their show the other day thought it was a low down thing for SCLC to go to people communities to teach them how to read so that they could vote because they couldn't register to vote. Fought for the voting rights because you couldn't vote. You can't vote. You can't say who in your town. Then you got to try to go around some questions like how many bubbles is in a bar of soap? How many hairs on a dog's head? Just to get in there to vote. Phoenix is on her way on stage. Well, how you doing, my sister?
I'm doing well, Chief. How are you?
I'm running this channel. You see me, huh? You see me.
Yes, ma'am, I do. Doing a fine job.
I told you if I could get on here, I told you and Jay Martin now. I get on here, we're going to do it right. But what I want them to understand, Phoenix, if it wasn't for civil rights, y'all wouldn't have been able to go to the schools that y'all went to. Okay? If it wasn't for civil rights, we can't ride on the bus that people riding on today. The bad problem about it, we couldn't go from state to state because even the entertainers back then couldn't check in the hotel, even if they had the money. So stop saying civil rights didn't do, because civil rights have done. That does not say everybody in civil rights was doing the right thing. This man just said everybody in the church wasn't a part of this conspiracy because he said the Catholic Church, some of them, condemned what the Jewish was doing. I mean the Jesuits. Now, who were they doing it to? They did it to the Jewish people. They did it to us as Indians. It was a strategy for every place. Get out of civil rights as your blockage and worrying about what Martin Luther King did. He died. And some people still didn't understand. What glory did he get from dying and not being there to take care of his family? Come off it. You're targeting the wrong thing. So the person up above said they knew about this before. Well, if you knew about it, you should not be trying to attack civil rights leaders who was running around with poster papers and pencils. I'm not going to let that happen on my watch. Then you got to say, what are you doing to bring the word to the public? I got some of my members on here. They know this is the way I teach. Because I don't want my people being blind, because when the blind lead the blind, they both fall in the ditch. But that person might have was new and don't know a lot of y'all asked me to come do this. So I want you to understand, I was asked to do what I'm doing. And I'm doing it. And I'm not going to sit here and be attacked as a civil rights leader that dedicated 40-some years of my life as an adult and my husband's money to try to educate people in my local community. Don't fight and focus toward the wrong enemy. And when you see these things and these signs and symbols, yes, Jazz, we need to be looking at these symbols that surround us and want to know why they want to put their name on everything. We still talking about these new nations they building. I'm going to shut up for a minute, things. Let me hear you say what you got to say about the show and let you greet our audience. Are you there, Phoenix?
I am. Hi, everybody. Well, you did walk back 400 500 years now at this point, maybe even 6 almost, my goodness. The churches, and then it also goes into the families. And one thing that they didn't make a distinction, but I wanted to make sure that it was clarity, that these same families are only separated by nationality. Spain, France, they're all the same sandwich.
And
At
thing is,
diff-
I'm glad why you're saying the same sandwich. They need to pull up the maps and see how close geographically these people are. Don't just look at these names and hear. Go look. All right, things. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but they need to go look. Look at the maps. Look at the areas. Go back and dissect this show. Go ahead, Phoenix.
I'm actually going to switch to the laptop so I can show a couple of old maps. I'll be right back.
All right, she'll be right back. So we'll do the commercial while she be right back here. The commercial is while Phoenix is getting ready to be right back. If our people, someone said the ancestors, how could our older people deal with this junk? White folks had libraries in their own homes. Those books wasn't exposed to people of color. They didn't want people of color to read, let alone go into the library. That was a death sentence right there. They had the form of communication. Today, with modern technology, we got the power, not with the pen, we got the power of the internet. And we must use it to teach. We are going to talk about the order of the Iroquois, but what we have to realize, all of this played part coming from those countries, coming to this country, which empowered the people with their movements in America. We're talking about Congress. We're talking about presidents of the United States. Same as I said about the religious point. I'm not going to linger there long. I want the facts out of that. I want the facts out of what's happening in the political arena. And we need to think about it. And when somebody tell you not to vote and don't register to vote, tell me how you're going to change the system locally in your area. You got to change it through your local churches. You got to change it through your local political system. If you are equipped with the right knowledge, you can face it straight on. I'm reading some of the stuff. Okay, I want you what you said, Davida. Davida, what I'm trying to do is someone told me it's so much confusion on the internet you don't know what to go look at and what's real. What this man did is he gave you reference. Someone said earlier, he brought on some receipts. Somewhere this man must have was sick and tired of this junk. And he brought it. Instead of people using their chat rooms and the internet to educate the people that we are not each other's enemies, we are the victim of whatever this system was they put together. But people changing their names, they changing and coming up with a tribe that don't exist. None of those things is the issue. I just brought you the issue. This is what I meant by saying we got to go back to the base. We got to go back to the beginning of this jump. Then we'll work our way up. But you got to know why you got all these white Indian tribes being recognized, and somebody that look like us is not being recognized. They don't have a red chess piece on that board. Okay? That's right. I'm with you, Star. He gave us the who, what, when, where, and why. I don't care if a person come another color or the same color. Trying to tell you difference is up to you to go find the reference that he gave you. Okay? That's right, Mr. Waldo. We're in the middle of an old religious war that they brought to this country. And we still in the middle of it. I'm glad you didn't know they always in society, but now you do. I'm glad you now know. It wasn't for us to know, baby. That's why there was a secret society, so don't feel bad about that. But guess what? The people is telling us who really got us in this situation and how the power kept us and how they took our land. And we need to be asking local politicians what they're going to do to turn this junk around. And don't let nobody tell you it's a conspiracy theory. It is written. It's written. I want y'all to type in there, it is written. Now we determine if it so shall it be. Can somebody write that in there for me? It is written. But we determine the outcome. If it's going to be, so shall it be. They made us fight their wars. They made us make their riches. And when you begin to get knowledge about what's going on with you, you start understanding where the real enemy is coming from. You start finding out your friends and people that everybody that look like you are not your enemy. The knowledge they kept from us makes them make decisions that's not right sometimes. And then that's when we got to go back and correct that. Okay? We have to go back and correct that. How do we go back and correct it? I told y'all we got to retreat, regroup, re-educate, and return. I think I might have got it in there. Mr. Waldo, I finally got that link to go in. Someone said they wanted you to come on stage. J-Mo, I want to hear from you. Please come on stage. I want to hear from this next generation. Okay, Phoenix, I brought you on. We're waiting on Phoenix to get ready to come on with her other presentation. And at the same time, I'll be waiting on J-Mo to come in. Yes, the enemy deals in confusion. And a lot of times you notice even in some of these chat rooms, there's more arguing and bickering, but nothing factual to bring you back. I say we got to go back to the beginning to see what brought about the problem that we're dealing with today.
Okay, Chief, I have a couple of maps I wanted to show.
Okay, ready when you are.
What's interesting is the Magna Carta is not written in English. I never understood that. I know we have American English and then there's, English, but they don't, it's not written in English. This is the Treaty of Brittany on May 1360. And these same families all descend from the Holy Roman Empire. And there's a couple of places here. One in particular I want to show.
I want to answer something looking for that. They're not going to give you our land back. They put all these 100 years to take it from us. So that doesn't get us nowhere, give you our land back. That's not going to happen. But what can happen is as we tell the truth and educate, we can expose the stealing and thievery and have justice served. And if a person don't know where the land is, how can they claim it? If they spending their money on other stuff, they going to Africa and they doing all this other stuff with their money. And so instead of finding out what did they steal from you, don't just say your land because all have land that they took. We got to be realistic. The nations had land. You getting what I'm saying, Ben? Not
Yes, ma'am.
not individual land. So there's not going to be, I don't see no time in the future everybody getting a piece of land. I see nations need to be, how can I say, paid for that which was done to them as a nation. They're not going to give it to you individually. Just like I don't see them giving reparation for the free labor they got from Indians and from people of other countries, because we got to stop this Africa thing. Everybody came in here did not come from Africa. Everybody that served as slaves were not African American. Someone had up there about Ferdinand. I told y'all on the other video, this was St. Ferdinand before it was St. Tammany. St. Tammany is still in their records. That's something to think about. Look at the land and you'll find who the people were that was there. That's why I say your name is important. It's important to protect the names of your towns and your cities and your streets. Okay, Phoenix, I'm going to shut up so you can go ahead.
Some of these names are frequent in modern day Louisiana right now. But this is France, and this is the origin of Guinea. So when they say Guinea Negro, they're talking about the European Negro.
Say it again.
When they're speaking about Guineas, they're speaking of the European Negro of Italian descent.
There you go.
You have Toulouse, you have these different names, Montpellier. These are all familiar names, these same families. Lyons, House of Burgundy, Orleans, Maine, Brittany, Normandy, the House of Norman, all separated by houses, but they all family by proximity.
No different than Mississippi, Arkansas, and Louisiana have families in those different states, correct? It does
That's
not
correct.
family because we have a state line between us that someone named is by blood we kin. And that's with them. They got lines between them, but by blood they kin. And they brought their wars to these soils. They brought their family differences to these shores.
Now, over here in the corner, I'm going to move it over. The Savoy Empire is also Holy Roman Empire. This is their humble beginnings. Not so humble, but you get the drift.
Yeah.
And these are also the people that was kidnapped off the 1619 Negro Project.
So,
Angoulême.
so Phoenix, you're saying in that the video we just showed tonight, which I wish everybody go back and watch this video, just kick back, relax, and absorb the knowledge. There's tons of information in this video. Tons. But I told y'all this is gonna be a hot summer, so we understand Phoenix how they build a nation. Okay? Because they have built many nations using the same script. And the elimination of a group of people from those areas by the same script. There is nothing to protect the people because who was our allies in these different countries of people who were the indigenous or aboriginal to their land? They had no ally to go to. We don't have really an ally to go to now. This stuff showing you Democrat and Republican, the man just told you. I've been telling y'all, a bird have two wings. Then when I look, he talked about the peacock feathers and stuff like this here. What are they dressing in these Mardi Gras parades with? With the name of these deities and stuff, Phoenix. They're parading it in front of us, and people spend money and say, "Oh, I love this." But do you know what you're doing? You mimic something that you saw somebody else do. Why do the priests go bless Mardi Gras with all of the floats named after gods and goddesses and deities?
They got white people in the Zulu tribe, right? Or the Zulu Mardi Gras people.
Make they face black and jump in. That's all they gotta do. You gotta have the money. It's not about this. You have the money? Didn't that man say that's what it's about? Y'all go back and listen. He has other things out there. I've been watching this stuff for a pretty long time, and I would suggest y'all go listen up what this man is saying. If y'all found this to be powerful, send some fire and powerful up. So when they come to eat, they know you got the lesson. But what they don't know, you are going to go to the side. Today you're going to graze like a cow with more than one belly. We grazing through it fast, Phoenix, but a cow go sit under a tree in the cool wind and regurgitate and chew over from their belly to get the nutrition of what they had just ate. And that's what I need y'all to do. Phoenix is coming back with some maps. Do y'all understand it ain't about all these little fake tribes running around here, black or white fake tribes? You better have some facts when you're going toward this. That's why Nadia, I told her when she was explaining, pull me the Spanish record. So if you can't pull yourself behind some records that they also documented, they document what they do, they rub it in your face. Go pull facts. Come back. I got people right now playing this game. Y'all know it. Come round, don't even live here. And they're going to create them a tribe with the white man. Didn't Phoenix Tom say he created those tribes? A white man created
He sure did.
them in the parish.
With the help of Disney.
And Disney is a fantasy movie making company. So I don't have time to fight the black fakes and the white fakes. So what I'm trying to show you is both sides of the chessboard. There is a black side and a white side. Now I'm gonna ask y'all, who you think side of the board is set to win? Black side, white side. Put it on there when you see it. Because right now, I'm gonna give you mines. I don't see the black ones winning because they got them fighting each other. So here is my response to that. I'm gonna give you my response. Because it wasn't set for black people. Okay? I'm gonna go down in the record with you on what I feel. That's what I feel. Why? Because I showed you, like Phoenix say, we done went back to the 1400s, Phoenix. The chessboard was set up in the 1400s. As they went across this country and other countries, the people that set up the board already knew why and how they were set. I'm gonna shut up. Phoenix going back to the board. Y'all put it as the white side or the black side that y'all see so far. That's right.
If y'all notice, down here, some of the boot of Italy isn't even there yet, right? That wasn't their base of operations exclusively. And what they're not showing is the 10 nautical miles away from Africa, North Africa, which was under the same European control and had the same European descendants that go back to these same families that have taken over the entire world.
And it's, Star, you're right. With a few black royal bloodlines, if y'all notice that Pope was black, that they sit under. If you notice, every world leader got to go meet with the Pope. I ain't say they asked to go; they have to go.
They have to kiss the ring.
They have to. Like Bush couldn't answer his question: was he a part of Skull and Bone? And if you notice, some of them are part of more than one fraternity. Just like you got to come through the Jesuit to be a pope. All except for this last pope that we have gotten didn't come through the Jesuit. You understand, Phoenix? Now, the other part is you got to go through one of them fraternities to be president of the United States. That sounds like a setup on the board. The rules are set, not in your favor. So it ain't about names and different stuff. It's about who are we dealing with here. We got to understand. They want you to go grab different stuff so that they can clearly, like the man say, take claim. We just learned it was not, I keep telling people, it was not the British that first say divide and conquer. It was Rome. Could y'all write it down? Rome set forth the divide and conquer.
Rome divided and conquered Britain.
Come on. Y'all, now this is what I'm talking about, waking up. I hear people talking they woke and they were still sleeping. Told you they were sleepwalking because if you ain't dealing with this, you still sleep. You dreaming. You dreaming you're going to get some land given back to you. And you don't want to vote. And you don't want to get involved. And you don't want to be a part of exposing it. So how you going to get it back? There's a way to change laws that's not just for us. And when laws are not right, based on the law set up for the country, then that means we need to make changes in who we're voting for locally before we can fight about who we're going to change in Washington, okay? Because if we change the right people locally, you are changing Washington. It starts locally.
That's right.
Okay, y'all? You want to know who to write letters to? Write letters to the Vatican. Write letters to the archbishops. And we need to come together. We better understand it. We want to create something illegal to try to fight something that was already legal. Y'all not understanding. This stuff they doing is legal. Why is it legal? They made it legal. And it made it illegal for you to stand up against it. So you have to start electing people locally, register to vote. I don't care if they Democrat or Republican. I don't care if they independent or whatever. Talk to the person that you're giving your vote to. See that they understand that you know what game was played against you to hold your community down from affordable health care and housing. The jailhouse is a part of the monopoly. Someone said if they were playing Monopoly, they playing 2-3 games here, baby. And Monopoly is the only game that say go to jail, go straight to jail. You understand things? While the rich man monopolized the board. There's many games being played. They didn't create those games just as a game. They created them because they had already played them. But we understand the knights is on the board in chess. Checkers don't have queens. Monopoly don't have queens and kings. So there's many games played, and why they playing so many games, Phoenix, we watching the wrong game at the wrong time. Every time we look at one board, they switch to another game board.
Switch to another.
You better learn all of those games. People get power. People use the church and brought their power and infiltrated and perpetrated the church. That's what the man was saying, and I see that happen. Okay? J-Mar, one thing for sure, checkers ain't, you understand what I'm saying. Checkers ain't even one of the games. Black folks been playing checkers. These jokers playing for the keep. They want the world, a one world order. Can't get that off checkers, don't have no queens and kings running around through that. It's going to be a hot summer with Chief for those who stick with me. We have 121 people now in the room. If you have not hit the like button, one of our rangers need to let me know, do we have 121 likes? Hit the button, please. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do so.
Say 177 likes.
Huh? What we have?
177 likes.
I like that, y'all. That means somebody came in and had to go stir the pot in their own kitchen. This is what I want to ask you, Phoenix. What you think about this video tonight? What does that mean? Let me do this. What if this was where internet started? if we would have been concentrating on educating the masses. Tell me what you think. They said we have 192 likes in the room. Thanks, Sunflower. Talk to me about if the knowledge was there. What do you feel? I mean, in these generations here, and then you can go back and elaborate on what you think our people have to deal with without having this knowledge. Shut up and take the mic.
Well, I know it was countless hours. My first interview, I got to speak to Mamie King Chalmers. And she, her whole family, she was a little girl, her and her siblings were involved in civil rights because their parents were, and her parents were involved in civil rights because their grandparents were. So the entire family, they gave up so much. She made a comment about our generation making jokes about slave feet. Oh, excuse me, that's a siren going by. I'm in my yard. One moment. About slave feet. And Miss Chalmers told me that when in Birmingham, during segregation, they would never measure their width of their feet, only the length. And as they were boycotting, they walking 20, 30 miles a day, put a beat on your feet. And she wondered why, she said, I'm assuming that we, make jokes and things like that because we don't know what their feet been through. That was one. She also talked about us not saving our money and putting ourselves to better use collectively. Um, how everybody had a role, even if someone was to make sure there was always fresh coffee for somebody to drink. Everybody played an integral part. The children, whether they were folding flyers, uh, uh, and again, you taught me about how they were teaching people how to read and different things about, things that needed to be done. Um, and as she told me those stories, and about the dresses, how they started to, get measured for the dresses, and how they would never be able to go try things on. And they would stand outside in the Birmingham sun, and the white women or the shop owners would come and take their measurements. And if they had somewhere important to go, that they would sabotage their outfits, and they certainly couldn't try things on to see how they fit because no white woman would ever purchase anything that a Negro had tried on. So just giving me a little details of the times, and how they got arrested together. The family got arrested together. Her and her brother are in that famous picture from the civil rights, getting sprayed by water hoses, and they were sicking the dogs on them as well. So I grew up knowing what an 8-track record player was, and doing things manually. Microfiche, microfilm, that was technology back then, let alone the power of some of these smartphones and what we could do now. So I come from that era of doing things, with the old filing system and things like that. So I can't imagine how clever you all were to not have the ease of technology that we have now and still get things done. Still be able to get things done with all the doubt, all the fear. And it was very powerful. And I'm very thankful. I came in very hot talking about Martin Luther King. I spent a couple months talking about him on my platform. And then I actually met the person that is the child of one of the people that assisted with getting him shot. And that was quite peculiar to me because that person was in their 70s, and their father, who had passed away, was the active person. Um, so generations later, I come bump into a person that is related to somebody that, committed this, was part of this conspiracy to kill Martin Luther King, at the point where he was trying to change his, his perspective, and things were changing for him. and something changed in him, and that was different, and it must have frightened these people. And I say that because, you know, whatever start he may have had, he came out clean. He ended up clean. And people tried to rob him of his second chance that everybody probably deserves. I spent the next 6, 7 years apologizing for the things that I said about him. As I grew to learn more about some of the things that y'all had to do. And just again, the time involved, the money that had to be present, just to do the basic things and to be able to travel and be active in places where they did not want y'all around.
Phoenix, we didn't have to sleep in cars, we didn't have to sleep in vans, we didn't have to sleep in roach motels. This is after the older people that fought for the right to check in the hotel. A lot of times we went to didn't have enough space for all of us to stay in a hotel. And I'm talking in the 80s and the 90s. Okay? So when people blaming civil rights leaders and trying to say they all got rich, some may have. Some may have taken advantage of the situation. But don't make it look like the whole picture. Because then you destroy the help from the next generation is what they don't understand. We was just like you all are now. Without technology trying to figure out what in the heck was going on. So yeah, you try this, that don't work. You try that, that don't work. But don't condemn a person from trying to get some help for their community and people. And then, like with Dr. King or any of us, he said he had a dream, but he turned around a year later and said his dream became a nightmare. Okay, things, why? We work for things and we think it's gonna be like it's gonna be, and it don't. So then you gotta go back to the table and say, hey, we put all that we had into this. What was the next step? Or like Dr. King said, where do we go from here? So no one can blame back then who had less technology. We had to get in the library. We had to find the book by ourselves. We had to go into archives. We couldn't sit in our underwear at home and criticize somebody else and have it put your clothes on and came out and tried that way. And I'm not gonna let the person that put that video out about 8, 10 days ago, I'm not gonna give them no glory. And you ain't step on my foot. You're hurting your own self because you telling people not to go vote. Don't register. It was wrong what we did, registering people to vote and teaching people to read. And people following that. I say they want to be blind. You want to blame somebody else for something that you're not willing to do. Our life was on the line every time we stood up. And we stood up when they said no violence. But somebody else coming in violence. Nobody can't tell me nothing when I march through the streets of Slidell, fighting clans dressed in their suit, and the mayor of Slidell calling me saying, look, can you come and help us? Because the Klan taking the town over. I went out there with my handful of people to let them know, not this time. Not on my watch. When the Klans was raising money at the middle of the three-way street, I would go out there, tell elected officials, if they can do it, when we should be able to do it. They didn't want us out there, so they had to stop them from shaking cans on the corner. Don't blame the civil rights people. It's your turn now. What are you doing? If you know how to do it better than they did, do it. Don't just sit back and complain on our time. Let me see what you're going to do on your watch. Somebody say they stood up and paid a heavy price. Baby, I told y'all, my brother-in-law say, sometimes we got to pay for it, our knowledge, and we pay highly and get very little back in return. You ever bought a bag of potato chips lately? Phoenix, potato chips is shrinking in the bag.
Bag full of air. I bought bags of air.
So the civil rights leaders might have purchased a bag that they thought was full, Phoenix, but the bag it didn't have that many chips in it, okay? It was a bag of air with a few chips, meaning we got a few things done when we were aiming to buy a whole bag. Nobody put their children and their family at risk for a joke. I am a civil rights leader. That person made that video. I ain't never seen they was a civil rights leader. They wasn't marching and protesting with none of us. I doubt they ever did it. They're making videos and writing books, them and their wives, to make money. Why don't y'all tell these people that's making money to put some receipts on what they're doing? They raising money off of somebody indigenous and Aboriginal. What's that other one, Phoenix? I told y'all just like that day. What is it, Niji or whatever it is?
Yeah, Nietzsche.
How much money is those people that's doing those shows? Can they give you receipts on what they're doing with the money that you paying them today? The people they complaining about doing more still dead than they doing live sitting on the internet. Yeah, they work still going on. But who household are y'all taking care of with these books? And giving them what them things is, I don't get too many of them. Super whatever that junk is. I see them watch $10, $20 to a lie. We'll pay for a lie before we look at the truth for free. Isn't that pitiful, Phoenix?
That's pathetic. My daddy said, don't be no poor righteous teacher. Just promise me you ain't going to be no poor righteous teacher. I don't feel too comfortable telling people my baby's a civil rights leader.
Paying them make somebody make you feel good with some words on some computer, that those words don't leave from the computer and help you with your housing and your jobs or your children with education. But you paying this person for what? So the next generation can come back and say this person made money off the movement and using modern day technology, getting rich in their house. They don't even have to travel. They don't have to go look for a place to hold around. They don't have to do none of that things. They just making money sitting there criticizing other people. If y'all like what's going on this show tonight, send some fire. I'm not gonna hold y'all all night. We got 128 people in the room. I think all 128 that's still here, the 190 or the 200 that have given likes. If you're new to this here series we working on, go back, please. Go back to part one. Walk your way up. Part one, we actually talking about blacks that's trying to play chess on a white man chessboard. It's not gonna happen. I don't know what we cooked tonight. We don't went beyond a normal dish. This must be one of those feast things that come around ever so often, when family, friends, and everybody is welcome. But one thing is not, it's not a funeral. It may be a wedding party, the marriage of truth. And we feasting. Chief will be back. I'm gonna let y'all go. We up at the 2 hour and 47 minutes. We're not gonna keep y'all 4 hours tonight, because I think we're gonna have to let y'all digest. I was gonna do something else, but Phoenix, I think I'll hold it and I might come back tomorrow.
Okay.
Or if they want to eat a little more, we'll feed a little more. But it's up to them. I'm waiting to see what y'all saying, because there are some things we can go a little deeper about. We just getting started, really. We're just getting started. So, I'm not going to try to cram everything down your throat at one time. That wouldn't be fair. If y'all enjoying the meal, let us know. I like that. Clear the board. Well, what I'm trying to show us on this board, we got to stop being each other's enemy. It's not really about us. And those Indians that been recognized by the government, they was recognized for a reason. You understand, Phoenix? They there to block the real from coming through. And if people don't start understanding that, they'll get caught up in the finger pointing situation and not see the whole picture. Let me see what they saying over here. Phoenix, I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna check what all people saying, because I like to know what y'all saying out there. you can take on for a minute, Phoenix. We'll go back and catch up on what they saying to us.
J Mar said we eating good. He said she been put a whole foot in it. I love it. Left foot says seconds, please.
Tell J-Mo I'm trying to get him on stage over here right quick, because he out there younger generation, and the younger generation mean a lot to me. I don't want nobody to make them be mistaken that civil rights leaders was out here getting rich, because it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. Take my word. J-Mo, I'm putting the link in on here, and I'm asking you to step to the table. It should have went in there. There it is. All right, J-Mo, I dropped the link in there. Step to the table. I want to hear from the younger people. And I want y'all to know I'm going to always be a civil rights, human rights leader. And nobody's going to shame me from that. And I ain't never sold nobody out at all. I was sold out. Why would I sell out? You understand, Phoenix?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm trying my best to season that pot. Yes, I am. I am trying to. We fixing to bring on J-Mo. There he is. J-Mo, come on in.
Hello, Jay.
Come on in and talk to Chief. Talk to Chief.
Hey, peace. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, both of us.
Hey, peace, Phoenix. Peace, Chief Warhorse.
Damn.
Uh, Definitely appreciate the build. So much food for thought, for information. I think you've really been tying in a lot of different aspects that bringing together a lot of different directions. The confusion is definitely like a part of solving, one of our problems. And I think the whole aspect of the church with the secret societies, especially going back to, we're talking about certain pivotal parts like Boston Tea Party, includes certain actors like, Washington, Hoover. We're talking about even the people that they like honor. It's really amazing how they set up this unique system of confusion. But I definitely need to do a rewatch with this Jesuit aspect.
That's
Uh,
right.
because I came in a little halfway through the build, but I was definitely picking up on some of the things that you were laying down through the video. And I guess that ties eventually back to, what you was breaking down previously with the improved order of the red men.
I'm gonna go back to that. This just what I'm doing here is trying to give that base that nobody want to give. Where do this start? How do some people blame the church, some blaming the civil rights, some blaming this. I brought it back and trying to bring it back, Jim, where they can understand it's bigger than that. Okay, it's bigger than that. It's a world issue. So how can you blame the civil rights leaders for something that was done hundreds of years before Dr. King was born? Hundreds and hundreds of years. This is the same mechanism that benefited from slavery. Okay? So they were getting the money through slavery. The church owned slaves, right? Um, they were bringing people from one country to the other like they was some kind of product, human trafficking, without anybody calling it human trafficking then. It was part of the economic growth, which it says Rome benefited from. Okay? So Rome and the Catholic Church benefited. Okay? We now have to go back and look. When people talk about just America, more than America is a part of this problem. This here dish wasn't cooked up in no one country. Okay? And this ain't no sweet potato and eggplant gumbo either. This junk have been working. And a lot of times people of color in whatever country they are from or in, by not knowing what was happening to them, they jump from one thing to the next, like they say, jump out the pot into the fire or out the skillet into the fire, trying to run from it and getting more heat. Um, to avoid that, we need to sit down and look at this recipe that they cooked up, that they put together. I got some books in the book collection. Stu, if you still there, you know we got books for years and years and years of books. So I can't take you through every book. I'm gonna bring some of the meat out of some of these books. White folks had libraries in their own homes, Jamar, and they would write books that only certain people could buy. You understand what I'm saying? And you would have to be a member of that association or that society to get that information. But these days, it's being um, digitized, and we all can get out here and dig this information up and get better understanding. And in the meantime, unite ourselves as victims, no matter what country or what race. People that feel that this is wrong need to unite themselves, and that's what we need to be choosing and voting for people based on. Are they a part of this? We need to ask people, are they a part of these organizations? Or were they parent parts of these organizations? Instead of just putting these people in office and keep empowering them. Okay? So I just hope I'm trying to clear up the blame and put the blame where it goes. And it goes way back and it goes up pretty high. And if y'all notice, I always talk about Nixon. So I wanted to show y'all Nixon was a major part of this. So he had a chance. Woodrow Wilson, major part of this. Hoover, major part of this. So yes, Hoover could go after the civil rights leaders because all they had to do is pick the phone up and tell Hoover go after the civil rights leaders. Y'all understanding this, Phoenix?
That's right.
So don't blame those civil rights people. What we can do now is get to the bottom of this and educate people on it. It's time for a change. But you got to know what need to be changed. And our system of election, the man said they're going to come all the way back to say each state has its own power. Look how far back he made that video, Jamar, and now people are asking for their own state to control the power. You got to know these symbols. You got to know their language of what they're talking about in the political arena because they people know what they say. It's the people who don't know Phoenix is going to be hurt, okay, Jamar? So we got to learn their lingo and their signs that they use and throw. So we know that's one of them, okay? That's what we got.
Yes, I agree. I got a question, Chief, because when you was going through that video, a question popped in my mind, and maybe you have a better insight on it. Um, the Pope rescinded the doctrine of discovery recently, didn't he?
Yes, he did, because this the kind of stuff he's faced with. The doctrine of discovery brought about the discovery of how they were going to do the discovery. You see what I'm saying? Let me say that again. The doctrine of discovery is actually a written law to allow them to classify somebody as paganistic, unhuman, to justify what they did around the world. Did I answer it?
Yes.
But him denouncing it have not changed the situation that have been fueled into the systems of other people, governments. The doctrine of discovery is a part of the Constitution of the United States. The doctrine of discovery is a part of a lot of things. So you just denouncing it and not doing anything for correction is in vain. Okay? So they doing these things as it's being exposed. They want to say, hey, my hands is clean. No, your hands are not clean. Because I don't care if they have 53 million popes. The Pope position is responsible for the murders, the rapes, the killing. The man said, take the babies, throw them in the air, and catch them on a spear. The church gave the right to be able to do that. And the church owe more than an apology. They owe a walk into the healing. And our country owe us a walk into a healing because they allowed the head of the FBI, the head of the country, the president, they allowed Congress to write a paper to give them a charter. And I think that's what the black people thought. We're going to go get us a charter. Then we can do this. We on the chessboard. Nope, they're going to jail. Going to jail. Why? Because you did not, the man just say, if you have not been approved to do those things, y'all understand? You're not to make that move. Because when you make that move, you done broke their law. that been in place since the 14 and the 1500s. Come in and elaborate on that thing for me, please.
Can you say that again, Chief?
Okay, people go and get charters. Some of them went to jail. We know that. Some more may go to jail around this country, trying to play the game these white folks play. I said they trying to get charters and play games and force their way through, but they don't have the power. So they breaking the law because the church and the government made it legal for what they doing, but it's illegal when they're doing it. That's why that black side of that chessboard ain't gonna win. Not like that. I say elaborate on what you feel about what you've seen so far. And I know you came in like J Mark, sort of like in the middle of the whole thing. And this ain't the last time we're gonna talk about this because all of this is going to the order of the red man. He just showed you those organizations, including the Ku Klux Klan, is a part of it. That's right, Evans, or go to jail call. Phoenix, I'm gonna let you talk to our people, J Mark.
I think it was one part that was very interesting to me was as he was speaking of Hitler, uh, pretty much carrying out the church's orders. That was a lot of candy for the dollar right there. Um, and I don't think it was a charter. I think some of these people are getting proclamations, and proclamations are not law, and they're certainly not a fact. They're not facts at all. And even in the civil rights speech where Lyndon B. Johnson at the signing, he expresses that a proclamation. And the one he was talking about in particular was the Emancipation Proclamation. And he indicated that it wasn't a law and it also wasn't a fact, and that he was finally answering the promises of 100 years prior. So,
So, thinking a proclamation is giving them the right, they actually fooling themselves. Okay? Because, first of all, you got to get a proclamation or a charter. I'm going to change that from proclamation. They spoke charter. They ought to be chartered by the church or chartered by, the, at this day and time, Congress or the President of the United States to have a piece of property to stand on. Let on the foot. They need a piece of property to stand on with what they're trying to do. So it doesn't make sense to go out there and get yourself in trouble trying to force your way in a door that is not yours. So you breaking and entering. You understand what I'm saying?
yep.
Now, if you want to change that, and now that we know what we need to be addressing, besides just saying we want civil rights, human rights, equal rights, justice, we want this junk exposed and overturned and denounced by our governments. That's what we need to be asking in each state. Did y'all see? I've been telling y'all, it's about what happened in our state. Did not this man say the power is within the local state? They taking your state by state. They're not just taking you by Washington, they're taking you state by state. And to take you by state, they got to take you by town and community. And if you're not standing up, educating and addressing, then you are idly sitting by and letting this happen. And cannot blame Martin Luther King, Chief Warhorse, or nobody else. You got to really get in there. You know, when you go to college, you got to put in a lot of college hours. Okay? That is correct. The doctrine of discovery is the foundation of international law and the majority of the government. That one is a good one. I got to put that one up there. I have to. Where is it? Because that's powerful. We got to understand the trickery. If we don't start understanding the trickery, we're going to get tricked some more. And I'm tired of us fighting and not knowing what we're fighting. Is like fighting a ghost. I sit here on the internet sometime and I watch ghost fights going on. And I'm like, why is they ghost fighting? Why? Why ghost fight? We need to know what we're punching.
Shadow boxing, Chief.
Yeah. Election is coming up. They got people out there telling people don't vote. On their show. You need to be asking that person, why are you marketing not to vote and not to get involved in my community where I have to live? That person don't have to live in your community and put up with whatever it is you got to put up with. Don't let that person tell you not to participate in your own hometown. And if you call them, they ain't going to help you. Why? Because they're making money off you right now. Okay? If you're not voting, Moody, that's you. But then whatever issues is in your community is on you. Because not only do you have to vote, you should run. If you know the truth, run. If you know you're going to do a better job than they're doing, run. Do y'all understand? You don't have to give nobody your vote. You can carry your vote. You are just as powerful or more powerful than some of the people you pull the levers for. But not voting is voting. There was a whole movement to get the younger generation not to vote. Okay, Phoenix? But you know what I find strange when people saying now they don't vote? When I saw Obama running, black folks was voting and they took streets over.
Yes, ma'am. In droves.
Don't vote. So the first person of color that got elected then killed your spirit on voting? Huh? Because if you don't want to vote, you don't want to change. If you don't want to run for a seat, then you don't want to change. Do one or the other. Thank you, Evans. Taxation without representation, but some people don't even want to help get representation. So if you don't have representation, they can just keep on with this game they play. I'm not here telling you Democrat or Republican. I'm telling you, know the person you're voting for. If you don't know them, get in the race. Heck, if Donald Trump can jump in the race and win, I believe anybody can win now. If Biden win and can't remember yesterday, anybody can run. I'm not on here talking to you about no particular party or person. I'm talking to you about issues that we're affected by. And we can sit here on the internet, go back and forth on who's wrong, who's this, don't vote, vote. And the junk's still going to keep clicking as the clock clicks. You know, I want to go on something. I saw Noreen put in there voting is power. Noreen ran for a seat to carry an issue. I have to be honest, Phoenix, the man that ended up winning, he's still carrying the issue. And Noreen don't even have the headache of everybody aggravating her, but he is trying to do something. Trying. And I'm not going to say he's going to be 100 on what we was talking about for the community, but at least he might be doing a little better than what they got before for that community. Y'all hear what I'm saying? And if each time we get a little more and a little more, the next generation will have it a whole lot better. That's what the civil rights movement was about, trying to make it better for the next generation. Ain't nobody out there working for $2.25 right now, hour, or $1.75. Because the civil rights movement was fighting for a little bit more fair pay. And if you notice, out of that, everything that man said, he had nothing to say about black, Negro, colored. Did you notice that, y'all? He talked about power. They talked about the Germans and everything else. They ain't say nothing about black people. I told you it wasn't even a discussion.
Not a lick.
It wasn't even a discussion on the board. Back then, it wasn't even a discussion. Because you know what's funny, things? There were black people that played this game with them and still is today. Y'all, I've enjoyed y'all tonight. J-Mar, you have anything to say in our closure? I was looking to see if Ishmael was out there to ask him to come step up on the stage. If y'all enjoying tonight, let us know. Someone said sign the petition and vote. I agree with you, cuz the only way they're going to know that you have knowledge and you're not falling for the trick is when you take a stand.
Yes, if you are going to vote, make sure you check your county and your state to see what the deadlines are.
Do some homework on these candidates, see who they connected to, and ask them what their agenda is. Call their campaign office. Say, look, a group of us want to meet with you and see how you stand with such and such. I'm doing something other people don't want to donate to. I'm telling you who got the real power. I'm not blaming black folks because some folks on there blaming Dr. King because he's black and dead. I'm still alive and I can speak for myself. I ain't never sold nobody out in the civil rights movement. Me and my family have sacrificed. As a chief of a tribe, the same thing. Sale, it ain't nothing for you to get, but more heartache and pain. It's easier to talk about somebody. And the person that made that video ought to be ashamed of themselves. Because I haven't seen them do nothing directly to any community or indirectly, but boggle up people's mind so they can't see straight. I'm not here to do that. Person say they there to make a person think. My question to that is, think about what? How you are confusing the issue worse than it's already confused? How you done had fake tribes on your show talking about this is the real deal? I'm sure you watching my show because I sure watched yours when it came up. And you're highly a disappointment to civil rights or human rights with the trash you putting out. If you can't help the people with facts and build up something strong that the next generation can stand on, besides you making your income, you and your wife, that's the best you can do. You're gonna find out what war horse is too. Who you working for? You tell me who all work for somebody. When you telling the black people roll over and let them keep stomping on them, and you help them put information so they can be stopped, who are you working for? And you can do a show on me. You can come on down if the price is right. Because what I stood for as a civil rights leader, I still do. And what I stand for as an American Indian, I still stand for. I just don't know what in the heck you stand for. And the people need somebody can speak up. And you done met your match. You don't know if you're working on an Indian agenda or a civil rights agenda, meaning you don't know nothing about neither one of the topics you're talking on. Both of the topics I'm talking on, I've been dealing with them all my life, not just since the internet. Now, things now that I done cleared that out, we have held our audience for 3 hours, 12 minutes, and 29 seconds. Let's all say farewell to each other for a little while until we meet again soon, because we will. So put it in there, Noreen, wherever you at, until we meet again, which will be soon. And yes, we are still building on how they built the nation. Thank everybody that came here tonight. I'm going to give y'all a chance to run y'all last say on the board.
I just want to thank you, Chief. Thank you very, very much. Uh, Shout out to everybody in the chat, keeping it lit. The mods, making sure everything is smooth and healthy. And that's it. Till next time.
I'm not leaving without you speaking out over here because I respect the work that you have done. And I'm still respecting because you research. You don't just give people anything on the plate. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to go back and myself, J. Moore, to show you some of the things in from colonizer to chief that still tie into this. That we need to link those segments into the chat room, Phoenix, so people can go back and look at those specific spots. Y'all remember we recapping here. And we can't leave out colonizer the chief. Am I right, Jay Moore? Because there was a lot of work y'all put into that, and there's a lot of people that's linking into this. Jay Moore, close out on give me some comment on colonizer the chief in comparison with what you saw in the video.
Yes, yes, definitely. I think we definitely need to recap some of the things we touched on from colonizers chief. and connecting that with the information that you're dropping, even the improved order of the Redmen, um, tying back to even some of the tribes that we were kind of touching on in some of those videos. I think we could definitely revisit even the whole civil rights era or pre-civil rights era, where I'm saying the Indian Claims Commission Act. That was an interesting period. I want to say also, you mentioned, people discouraging people from voting, and I've come across also that type of attitude, even when it comes to people that want to want to bring change in a beneficial way that every quote unquote citizen has. And I think we ran across that when we even tried to do the petition. Am I right, Phoenix? Where we had people saying, "Why are you petitioning? What's this petition for?" Like it was,
Yes.
I, that attitude is very discouraging, and I think we definitely anyone needs to be aware of people discouraging you from you causing change, right? And in any right or way that you're entitled to, especially when you're talking about people hating on the civil rights, and then connecting that to them telling you not to vote, which during the civil rights, am I right? Weren't y'all also um, fighting for the right to vote without being pressured not to vote?
That's correct.
So that would tie into y'all having fair and open elections, or having access to the polls, and that would include, quote unquote, your community.
That's right. We have to volunteer to be.
So,
Oh, they pay
yeah.
poll watchers. We have to volunteer and move people around to be poll watchers to keep people from being blocked from voting. Okay, and those was people who donated out of their own pockets and families to be able to do those things. And when you hear people talking like that, you're talking to or hearing a person that don't understand the time and effort and sacrifice that people made in donations. Okay, we are able now to educate more people in a short period of time, way more than the civil rights movement could do, because we only could educate those who we could knock on their doors or come to rallies or meetings, which the numbers only can pertain to what the building can hold. We now have opportunity to reach beyond the capacity of a building and a fire code by using our internet in a positive to teach. We are not trying to radicalize anyone. We're trying to give knowledge to everyone. And knowledge will set you free. True knowledge will set you free. Like the man said, it'd be bad to be caught not knowing what's happening, because you'll be able to deal with it better if you know. He gave an illustration of people blowing their head off in his country because they don't know what's going on. We're trying to bring about healing over here. And healing comes with a diagnosing of the sickness and then a treatment or antidote to put it into remission so that it can move into a healing phase. The petition is something that's been diagnosed and a prescription for some medicine. And we're going to take that to Congress as a prescription that need to be filled. And those who know they need to sign the petition to get that dose of medicine, please sign the petition, because that is a prescription. Do y'all understand me? It hurts in your heart to know that another human being or many human beings have been doing this for over 500 years. And we are addressing okay, we're addressing the symptom with a band-aid when we actually need this here to be treated. It have not been diagnosed. We are diagnosing it for people right now. Now we need to ask for the antidote. Okay? And until we do that, we're going to continue with the heartache and pain, because we want to be treated as human beings. We're being treated less than animals. They have saved the whale and everything else. They have, the gay people need to be relieved from being oppressed, they said. But we can't say we need to be released from being oppressed. They're telling us take your pain and your sickness of your heart and all what happened to your ancestors and go in the corner and just shut up. And after a while, it'll be all right because that was way back then. No, it wasn't way back then. It's still today. So the petition need to be signed. And those who don't see need to sign it mean they still in darkness, J. Moore. All I can tell you, they walking in the darkness. Before I close, I saw somebody was on here, Israel Bridges. I don't know who you are. Rules of the channel, no cursing, respectful, so that children and everyone can hear. I'm gonna let you come on tonight because you came over to the page, so I'm gonna hear from you.
Hello?
All right, how you doing?
I'm alright. Thank you for letting me come on.
Okay. Did you have
Uh,
something specific you wanted to before we
yeah,
close?
sorry. Yeah, definitely. You said we need to get back to healing, and I think one thing in the Black community that we have a problem with is our family and taking care of each other. Like we don't do that. You see, like with whites, Hispanics, all across the board, it doesn't matter. They take care of each other, and we can see our brother, somebody in the store, anyway, every day, and don't even say hello. You know.
Okay. That's meaning a lesson we used to have for one another, right?
Hmm.
When you say hello or you, it's sort of like start a relationship of a conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they didn't program us not to communicate.
Exactly. Exactly.
So if we don't communicate, we're not going to get educated or educate. Okay?
Exactly.
So I hope you enjoy the channel, and I needed to ask you because I had not seen you on the show before. But do what you think about cooking with cheese, and are you gonna come cook with us some more?
Definitely. I've been watching a few of your videos, but I never joined the live actually. But yeah, I'll definitely keep watching. I love the information. It's enlightening. It's inspiring me. You know.
And I hope you understand the responsibility now falls on us as individuals. Okay, we can't blame anyone unless we're doing something. And voting and signing that petition is very important. We should not still be saying sign a petition. Am I right? We should
Facts.
unify to sign a petition to get some representation.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you, Mr. Bridges. Welcome to the channel. I hope you subscribe. I hope you share the channel, and I hope you hit the like button. Uh, every now and then, Chief was doing something a little different. If a guest come out there and I see that they are participating in the chat, I wouldn't mind bringing you on so that we know that we are getting the word out, and you all are understanding what Phoenix and J Mar. Let's just say Chief and her friends, because I bring other friends on too. I'm glad to have you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, Phoenix, as long as J-Mo, as long as we know we bringing people that understand what we're trying to do and the petition. I brought him in because I want to hear what Mr. Bridges had to say because I feel the petition is going to grow as people understand J-Mo and Phoenix and Ishmael and Mr. Waldo, what this petition and the work that y'all put into that petition. Okay? And y'all didn't do it for pay. Y'all did it because you committed. And we got to stop letting other people on these shows say everybody's doing stuff to make money. It takes a lot of work to bring you all facts. And I appreciate everybody that's working to get y'all as much facts as we can deliver. Now, we said goodbye earlier, and I'm going to tell you my old civil rights leader, Reverend Alexander, used to say all the time, and as we close. And then he would have about 5 as we close before we close. I'm not going to give y'all 5 this time for real. And as I close. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And we're going to keep up the work. And I will see you all again. And it may be tomorrow. After I talk with things this evening, I'll see if we'll come with the other part. Because we got to go back now and pick up on the order of the red man. Now that y'all know where he got his power from. Thank y'all very much. See y'all soon.